Greetings and welcome to Sengoku Dynasty. If you're new to the game, this guide is for you. I wanted to remake my beginner's guide as I noticed some mistakes I made and I want to correct them, and I also want to bridge it across to a full, this is all of the beginning of the game, let's do this. So if you are a new player in Sengoku Dynasty, this video is directed at you and meant for you to help get a great start here. If you're more interested in, if you're a person who's more advanced and a video that would be more suited for you is to jump ahead seasons, then please do check out my Can You Get to the Iron Age first, as that will take you through how to do some sequence breaking, if you will. So for those who are newer to the game, let's begin a new game. And let's just do normal. Let's play the game as it was intended and just go from there. Let's just try it out. One of the first things I would highly recommend for y'all is just the idea that the first time you play this game, let yourself play it as it is and make mistakes. Allow yourself to make mistakes, laugh at the things that don't go well, and just enjoy the process. Last time I made this video, we started with a female character. Let's do that again, just because, why not? That was unique to this. I haven't made a female character in the game yet, so let's go Chiho. That's fine by me. You'll see the cutscene at the beginning. I'm going to skip ahead for that. But this is going to give you the backstory for the game. It is enriching in the sense that it's telling you your setting that you came from. You have traveled a long distance. You have fled from war and conflict. You are a peasant who was thrown out of their home. And now here you are just trying to face a reality where you are on your own and there are people in power who are not showing kindness or any kind of greatness towards the people. And the people have this vision of a peasant kingdom, somewhere where they get to make decisions and they are safe from the people in power who are oppressing them. When we find ourselves here, stuck on this island, we'll start out by walking around. And first off, your keys are just as standard games, and you can change the settings as you see fit. Feel free to do so. As you go into settings, and if you go into controls, you'll be able to see all the different things that you can do and make edits to whatever you need to make edits to, so that you can find this to be as enjoyable as possible. Target lock will become a big deal later on. We'll talk about that in a bit. Handcrafting is Q, which helps out a lot so that you don't get stuck between the hammer crafting menu and the standard. We can pick things up with E, so let's pick up a lot of these things. There are a number of resources that are just going to be sitting around here, and honestly, rocks are a big deal as well. So why not take it? Oh, and look at that, free fish. So when we go around, we're going to gather up all the items that happen to have been dropped, and we're going to get a few freebies from this that'll help us out through our questing. Now, it is worth noting, and this is something that was pointed out to me, is that there are actually some items that we can get not too far away from the start here. Once we've gathered up everything we need from this little space, I definitely recommend just getting a few sticks before we head out to the other area. We'll craft our first items, just so we're ready to go. And in this game, you'll notice the setting is quite beautiful, and a thing that stands out in this game really is the vibrancy of the landscape and the beauty, and the seasons look wonderful. Really, they do stand out. We'll press Q here and we'll make our first item, which is a stone axe. We'll left click on it, and now we have a stone axe. It automatically goes into hotbar slot number 1. Now I'm going to recommend that you take your wooden torches and you place them somewhere down here in your hotbar slots, your quick slots, because now they don't take up inventory space. That's a big deal, and that's really handy because now we can pick up a lot more items as we go. We also can head over here and find ourselves going to this little island. And on this island, and this is a great tip, thank you for pointing this out, as I didn't actually know about these resources either. There's a fishing net, rope, copper adze, and look, some free water. You could also, if you so chose, chop that down, but I happen to think that looks beautiful where it is, so we'll just leave it there. We'll jump ourselves back out, and now here we are. Now, you can collect seashells. And I will say, back during the alpha, or back during the beta, I should say, this game, the seashells broke the economy. But obviously it was early on, so they don't do that anymore. But if you choose to, you can gather up seashells. Every once in a while, you will be lucky enough to pick up a pearl, which is worth a decent amount of money. As we go through, I'm just holding down the E key, which allows me to pick up a number of stones as long as I have them in my target. I can see I'm gathering them all up as I go. I can do the same thing as I hold down E and I go to these bushes. She just continuously gathers up the resources as we go. which saves me a lot of trouble. Now, what will we do with all these sticks and stones? We will be making tools, and we will be making our first structures in this game. I'm going to recommend that before we go, we just kind of chop down this tree to get our idea on how we do things. It'll take a few chops to get down, 5 chops, and then 1 chop takes away the leaves, 1 more chop takes it and turns it into logs. From here, you could strike it with the adze we got, and you could get planks, but I'm going to show you that you don't need to do that. We'll gather up a few more of these. We have a good amount of things at the start here, and honestly, we could also take a quick moment and put this adze somewhere. And also this ore that we can use in combat, by the way. This is considered a weapon. It is one of the heavy bludgeoning weapons, it's considered, so its attack patterns come from the bludgeoning style, so you'll find its moves are similar to the giant club as well. So as you play the game, you'll notice that there are different categories of weapons, and those different categories behave in a different key patterns of attacks. If you are going to go into combat early on, I have found that a power attack followed by 1 quick attack is a really effective way to end your opponents early, or at least push them back. And I found that that's the best combo for this particular weapon early on, until you get some more ways to do things with your weaponry. Now you're going to know I'm just constantly gathering up things, and why do I gather up all these things? Well, resources come in stacks, 25 stones per stack, and sticks, 50 sticks per stack. You are going to find yourself churning through these sticks and stones in the early game constantly. It takes a lot of resources to build early on. Gobo is a plant that we can harvest, and you'll notice that we're getting unlocks every time we get something new that we haven't ever harvested before. These statues, the Jizo figures, you can pick up and they're sellable. So that is decent as a resource, as a source of funds. Gathering up these items, and also I don't have commas yet, but you will notice that it gave us unlocks again, because now we have grasses. Grasses you'll find in the early game are a really important resource that are handy to have, and in your first village it's going to be nice to have a source of grasses, as you'll find yourself using a lot of it in construction of beds and other assorted early low-tech and low-tier items. Alright, when we come into here, Akko is our first person we can talk to. She is our traveling companion. Now, when we talk to her, press E. You can press the up and down arrows to change your dialogue choices, or you can mouse over them. It's totally your choice. Akko, you're alive. Don't move, you're hurt. Hold on, I'll make you a fire. I'll get some tools ready to go. I'll press Q. Let's build ourselves a hammer. And we'll press tab and we'll bring that thing. It doesn't automatically slot to our hotbar as number 2. When you take out a hammer, when you right click, now you have a menu of things you can build. You'll see an exclamation point for things that are new to you or rather relevant. We'll set this down. Now, when we do this, it's going to take time for all of my strikes to get the resources into their spaces. This does take a little while, and honestly there is a setting that I might suggest that you change. If we go into game mode, and I want to click on custom, the thing that I want to do is I want to do fast building resource delivery. That's it. That's the only thing I want to change, and I'll show you what that does for us. Let's say we built that same campfire. Now, when I click, I can just rapid fire click and boom, it is done. It is totally up to you whether you choose to use that one or not. Up to you, whatever you prefer. Now you can destroy anything you want by clicking 3 times, so that was right click, go to demolish, and then you have to click 3 times, 3 left clicks on it, and it will be destroyed. You can also right click to get out of that. Okay, how are you doing? Are you feeling better? Nice. You have some Gobo snack on. Yep, we sprinted our lives away, and we are looking for the Peasant Kingdom. I really think that you're going to enjoy the storyline. I know that when I played my early beta and was making my first recordings of this game, and this game is where I started, and it has a special place in my heart because of that, is I started off this storyline that I was a person fleeing the Ikoiki Rebellion, which historically was a uprising of the peasants, a religious uprising of the peasants, where the belief was that anyone can get into Nirvana, not just the higher up who can afford to go to temples. And this uprising led my character to flee from persecution and start their village here. I loved that storyline. It was fun to RP it, but I also found that as you think about this Peasant Kingdom storyline, and I don't want to spoil anything, but I want you to know, it turns out really well for you over time, and it's very fun to watch that storyline flesh out. I'm now going off the beaten path a little bit, and I want to get you something a little special at the start of the game here. Why not? And we'll go past these rocks, and you'll see a rope bridge above us. You could gather that gobo if you so chose. We'll head up here, and you'll notice that there are some resources hidden in here. Some bamboo, a copper axe, wooden torch, some bamboo bottles, and some sticks. Now, while we're here, I'm going to take some of these bamboo plants down, as we will use this bamboo in time. And you'll notice that now we're getting experience. So as we go through this game and do actions, for this I'm doing crafting actions. Anytime you build, harvest, or gather, you are getting some version of experience. You can mine this copper ore if you so chose. Pressing Q, we can make ourselves a stone pickaxe. You'll notice that I got free experience for making that tool for the very first time. And also, for collecting copper, I'm going to get a little bit of experience in craftsmanship as well. Now, do you need copper right now? No. No, you absolutely do not, but I do want to just showcase some of those ideas. Now, you might have noticed it takes a lot of stamina out of our character. If we click on Legend, let's go up to Craftsman. We have points here. You can take these initial skills that will make it take less stamina to do the actions that you're in charge of. I will take Skilled Lumberjack first, because I know that I'm about to use that axe a lot in our village that we're going to discover shortly. And before we go in, here, let's take a little more copper ore. We could also take some of the stone here, but honestly, I think you will find that in the early part of the game, getting access to stone is easily accomplished by just simply picking them up on the pathways as we walk in to Sosogi. Now our day is getting by on us. You'll look in the center and you notice that there's kind of in the center there's that compass, and there's a tracker that's midway through. It's halfway filled. That halfway filled is an indication of how far in the day we are. You can, if you want, go to this treasure over here, this large Tawara bag, and take what's in here. It's up to you. It's actually his stuff. He doesn't do anything to you because there isn't anything in the game about stealing at this point in time. You can take it if you so choose. I'm going to choose not to. Alrighty, as you come into this area, this is Sosogi Village and has been burned down. Similar situations to what you fled from, which leads us into a lot of the storyline, and I happen to really love how this ties in for us. So we choose that one, and then we're going to move on. Rebuilding, I need permission. Old Sosogi? You know, just as wild it could work. So because we're rebuilding the village and not building a new village, it kind of skirts around the rules of the abbot in the area. Now, you are not restricted. I can take myself, and from this village I could just run all the way here to Iwasaki, and I could build right there by the river, which is my favorite place to build. And if you've seen my video about going straight to the Iron Age, you know that that's exactly where I build my first village, because I want to have premium conifers and iron ore for my first village bell. We are only going to get 4 village bells in this game, which means we have to really choose where we put them. We can tear down bells and rebuild them in locations that can be done, but it does turn into extra work. Alright people, let's start this off. We're looking at this from the perspective of a beginner. We started out that first quest line. Now I clicked through things quickly. Your key one that you're going to talk about is the shipwreck, and that you want to continue down that talking point about we want to rebuild here Sosogi. When you strike these old burned down buildings, you'll notice that we are picking up charcoal and coniferous planks and sticks. That is incredible for us because our first buildings are going to take sticks and planks. And normally you would need to take that adze that we just found at the beginning, and you would have to take logs and strip them down and then turn them into planks with the adze. That's a way that you can do this. I'm going to say that here at the very beginning, we need to put a bell down. And this village here, for a beginner, this is perfect. We have a merchant nearby, up by those beautiful trees with the blossoms. Oh, wait. We'll press Q. Let's make our stone axe. I don't really want to use up that axe. It will last longer. Since it is made of copper, it can harvest... Well, it can't really harvest better trees because you need bronze to harvest better trees. It does last longer than a stone axe, but I want to tell you that at the start of the game, stone axes are the way to go. Think about all the sticks and stones we gathered up. We have more than enough sticks and stones to just keep rebuilding. And I could even build an extra axe right now by pressing Q and clicking on that, so that as we sit here and we tear down all these items, that we are going to be just fine. In our next axe, we'll jump into hotbar slot 1 as soon as this one is busted. And you may notice that we can chop down all of these different things. This will take a while, obviously, and it is not something you have to do at the start. In order to model that, let me make sure that I'm doing the right thing here, which is, let's build in this area and let's start thinking about what we want to have. These houses are in the way, so I'll clear these ones out just so we can get at where we want to build. And I will say that building in Sosogi, I highly recommend for your first playthrough. This is really a very good place to do your experimenting with the game, testing things out, trying things out, allowing yourself to try, fail, and learn. It's okay. Make sure that you just give yourself that opportunity. This is a good place to do it because it's large, expansive, it has access to water for fishing, and it fits the theme perfectly. There we are. Stone axe destroyed. The next one just got taken out of my inventory. Alright, let's spend a couple more of those points here in Craftsman. I could do more in lumberjacking. I could also think about doing more in skilled miner. These skills link on to other skills later on. You don't necessarily need to continue down the lumberjacking track if you don't want to. I happen to know we're going to be doing a lot of chopping of things here early in the game, and I do think it's worthwhile. You'll notice I don't have a lot of grass yet. I'm seeing I only have about 40. This is going to go quickly, so I'll gather up a bit of that. Again, holding down the E key is just allowing me to gather these quickly. These burned down trees can be harvested. They only give you sticks and charcoal, so really when it comes down to it, I find that I just clear these out because I don't like how they look, and I just want the area to be a little nicer. With this, let's put our first structures up so that we can really begin looking into how that first village goes and how that first village looks and what these steps are that we go through. You probably noticed on your map that we have to liberate this area at some point. And what does liberation take? Alrighty, when you place your bell, here, let's just toss it down. You'll notice that I need logs and sticks. Well, great, I have everything but the log. There's a lot of logs in this area. We just need to chop down these trees. Let's get a few gathered up, and then as we do that, you'll notice that now we're definitely not losing stamina as fast. Oh, as a quick side note, you'll notice these small trees will get you sticks and firewood. It's only really worth it if you plan on taking them down just because you don't want them where they are. You'll have better sources of firewood soon enough. Okay, I placed this in an area I don't like. I just placed it quick so I could have it down. I can hold down the T key, and now I'm moving my bell. Looking around, you can see this blue kind of ring around where we are. This giant, we're stuck in a giant cylinder of light. This blue light indicates where we can build to. So you'll notice that the blue light says I can't build up to the shoreline, and I can build over there. I don't really want to build on that side too much. So what I'm thinking when I place my bell is, I want to make the most use of this space. Would I like to build up on the hill? Yeah, I probably do. Do I want to build over in this area? Yeah, I think I do. So I want my bell to go over this way a bit more. But I don't want to lose the shoreline. So let's try there. We can also pick this thing up again, holding down T. And now let's see if we did a good job. Let's see if it's in a spot that I really enjoy. I want to be able to have my fishing huts over on the water. They have to be at least partly in the water. Ooh, that's going to allow us only one fishing hut right here and over there. I don't know if I really love that, because that means I can only build one fishing hut here, and in a little bit, we're going to find out why that means a lot. So, tell you what, let's put the bell right about there. I think that's going to do it. We'll do this again, just to be sure, right? I want to be sure that my village is in an easy spot for me to work with. I want to enjoy doing this build. I don't want to stick myself in a spot where I can't work too well. I think we can fit 2 fishing huts there. You might have noticed the people over there. In due time, we will end up taking them on as villagers. Okay, so, perfect. We have a bell. Now, what else do we have to do? We need to build a small house. Okay, well, let's go to buildings. So I right-clicked with my hammer out. Buildings. Housing buildings. We can only build a small house at the start, and that's fine. I cleared out this little area before, so why don't we place a small house right there. Now, it's going to take a lot of logs, so we will be chopping a bit. We'll go and we'll chop down trees in areas that we think are going to be worthwhile for us to get rid of. I'm already starting to think about how I want to decorate my area at the beginning. Oh, look out the trees. You don't actually have to worry about the trees running into you. They can't hurt you in this game. They do in Medieval Dynasty, obviously. Now this tree, you might have noticed, dropped 4 logs. The tree I chopped down before only dropped 3. The taller the tree is, you do get more logs out of it. This is considered a basic conifer tree. Oop, we're out of capacity. Let's go in and let's start building. Now with the fast delivery, I can just rapid click. And I'm dropping all my resources in here and building away. You'll notice that you are going to get a lot of skill increases for doing these types of projects, as it does a lot of individual actions that result in us getting experience. Uh-oh. Down a hammer. Let's go back and get those logs. And one of those logs will go Q. We'll build our wooden hammer. Now it does automatically go back into our hotbar slot number 2, where I had it before. I think this tree can go. We're going to end up having maybe a walkway here, or who knows, I can always let it regrow. Keep in mind if you leave a stump behind and you don't get rid of it, the tree will grow back in time. It takes a while, but it will come back. So if you do want a tree back in an area and you're saying, oh, wait, I didn't really want to lose that, it'll come back. Alrighty, essential furniture. We collected a lot of stones and sticks at the start, and you might already be seeing how that paid off. We're not actually done yet. We're going to right click. We're going to click on furniture. We're going to go to house furniture. We're going to go to beds, and we're going to go to this improvised bed, and we're going to place it somewhere in here. Because now I have 2 beds. Your basic houses can house 2 people. The standard house can house 4 people. And the large house can house 6 people. You do have to build extra beds in order to do that, but it's not hard to do, as you just saw. It does require grasses, and obviously we will gather up a lot of grasses as we go. Hey, poor guy, let's get rid of that stuff you're standing on. You don't need to stand on any of this broken stuff. Oshichi, we're going to continue our quest line. I have built a house. So, congratulations, expand, build a foraging and woodcutting hut, overall settle down. It's just the beginning of a place for everyone. So this is where we start seeing that part of the storyline start to build, where our character has this inspiration of, no, I want to build so that everyone has a safe place to be. We're then going to go through 3 different characters that are going to be in our storyline here. We're going to gain a lot of experience in doing these early quests. That old bell tower, that's not for us. Alright. Now, I have too much junk in my inventory. Look at all these things. Now, I could put things in storage like this. Yeah, I could do that. But honestly, it's time for us to build the next most important structure in the game. Let's go here to storage and then to general storage. Anything and everything can be placed in the general storage. Kind of fits the definition, right? It's a general storage. Early in the game, it is the only place that you are actually going to put anything. So in the early game, it is going to be the place you store things. It becomes complicated later on, where you need storages for specific things so that villagers can pull resources out of them to do work or drop things they harvest into them. At the start of the game, they just simply put everything in the general storage. So go storage, general storage. I cleared out those sticks because, well, I know I need those sticks for building, so I just decided I might as well harvest them before I put the building down so that I just have the sticks for our later projects. Oh, we're almost out of an axe again. We'll build another one just so that as this next chop goes, we have an axe already out and it saves us a little bit of time. And it is kind of fun to catch the logs as they fall straight down from the air. It's just entertaining to do. And again, this quick resource delivery is nice. I do appreciate having that on. That is a setting that I always do because I just find it to be a creature comfort for me. Smaller tree only gives me 3. That's okay though, because we are about to just go stick building and we'll be set. Now, where you place your buildings at the beginning of this game, it's totally up to you. You might notice that I intentionally chose this spot. Why? Well, I chose it because it's close to the bell, so that if I fast travel here, I just walk out, walk in, grab my stuff, and go. So that as I do early trades, it's kind of easy to get at. We are down grass again, unfortunately. So being low on resources is not a big deal. There's tons in this area. And that is another reason why I happen to think that Sosogi is the best early build location if you're new to the game. Because it has all of the basic resources you need right here constantly. Okay, we finished that up. The only thing left is to make the general storage. Fantastic. Now we can build a workshop and a forager's hut. We can put anything and everything we want in this storage. It's convenient in that sense. So anything, I mean literally anything. even things that you might not think belong. General storage is where anything can go. Oh, let's take that gobo and do a quick little thing on what we can do. Fish as well, we can cook. When you build your first house, you'll have access to your little sunken hearth. We can cook this gobo up and make it into something edible, or more edible as the case may be. Again, you notice that we're gaining experience when we make a recipe for the first time. We do get to take advantage of that in the early game to level up a bit early on, which is kind of helpful. There we are. Now, in this area, we're going to want to expand. We're going to need a lot of logs. We could easily go get Akko and tell her that she can come on into the village. Let's do that. Why not? And then we can build more. I'm noticing that there's one of my quest lines on the way though, and I think that this is worthwhile. Let's go in here and talk to him, because then we can go get Akko as well. Hey there. So Shichi said you need help. What's his story? And he's saying that he ate some poisonous mushrooms. Shouldn't we help him? Is there anything... What was he thinking trying that? Well, I don't know. But he says we can try to get help to her or ease his suffering, which is to say assist him on his way out. I always choose to help the guy survive, so that's just my choice. And there's our local fisherman friend who's just kind of doing his thing. I'll gather up some stones as we go. And then, as well, I'm going to also pick some of these grasses as we go through here. So this will be helpful for us early on, and as you saw, we're using a lot of grasses. Alrighty, and then into here we'll go and we'll gather up some of these resources, and I've got Akko to talk to, obviously, and these grasses, we do need them just because, obviously, early on, but you saw how much I'm using per building. We need some for our roofs, we're going to need some for early tools, and we're also going to need some for the extra beds we'll build, and we do want to build some early beds. If we time everything right, we can actually get Akko to start their job early on, but it's what it is. Alright, now we got to pick a home for Akko. We press N, and then I'll go into population. That's the easiest way for me anyway. Click on refugee departing, meaning that they'll leave if you don't find them a home in enough time. Assign a home. Let's go player village, a small house, improvised bed. We're set. Now I can't assign her a job, unfortunately. Let's assign us a home while we're at it. We'll live with Akko. We've traveled with Akko this far. Might as well stay with her. Now you can choose to demolish this fire because you're worried about, things, or you can just keep it there. Honestly, it has no impact on the game. It doesn't actually spread. It's not really a thing you need to worry about. But I just take it down. Smokey the Bear, back in the day, he taught me all the lessons on that. Alrighty, then here we go back home, and you'll notice that I'm holding down E and I'm gathering up more things, and I'm just simply picking up stones from the ground, and I'll pick up grasses as we go. There's a little bit of lag every once in a while just as graphics load in the areas and I'm doing things, so that does happen from time to time. 50 grass is pretty good. It will help us out immensely over time, but it is probably not enough. I know how much we're going to build, so we want more. And again, keep in mind that you can tear down any and all of these items as you go in, and we can gain things that we need. You might have noticed in our speech with our local impure that we need charcoal for our first quest line, and that first quest line takes us to her. Now I'm going to say taking down these trees is the best for getting charcoal. It happens to be convenient. Obviously you can take down just about anything in the area and you can gain charcoal as well. We'll see if we can get some out of this building, just because I wouldn't mind getting some more planks as we go. I wouldn't mind having a few more of those early resources set, and if I happen to get charcoal, that'd be great. Not so lucky that time around, so we will do a little more here. There we go. 3 charcoal is going to do it. This fence is definitely in my way. Alrighty, let's talk to her. A man is dying and I want help. He ate some bad mushrooms. Can you make the potion? How do you decide between the medicines? Well, I'm going to say he wants a chance to fight for his life. It's up to you. I'll say that. I have the charcoal, and you have a moment. Thank you. Okay, then we're going to head back to our guy, and we will get ourselves in a spot where we can move on. Now you notice we do have needs here. I pressed N. We have -30 and we have 12 available meals. We cooked that gobo. Tell you what, let's go place the cooked gobo into the general storage and let's see what change that gives us. We will eventually have a food storage. There we go. Alright, Now it's at 61. That's fantastic. By the way, you can change the priorities in what people can eat by going into meals. We can tell them what they can eat. If I don't want them eating fat because I need that for a resource for crafting later, then I can do that. I don't want them eating the raw resources because I want those for other projects and other things. I want them to only eat the meals that I make them. Now early on you can get by with just having the resources and it's fine, but I find that it's not worthwhile. Straw cloaks will keep your people warm, but honestly, it's not as good as oil, and I don't want them to use bark for fire, sticks for fire, or paper bark for fire, since I want them to keep those resources around for me to build. Honestly, I don't even want them to use firewood early in the game. I think charcoal and oil we will have up running in no time. Beverages, I won't be making calabash bottles anytime soon, but I'll leave it. I don't want them using sake because I make it into other things. And you can actually take care of the beverage needs by not telling them they can consume this, but by having jobs doing it. I actually want them just to do that. I want them just to drink water. But again, this is totally up to you. I don't like them to use clay as a resource because I find that I need it, and I don't want them using up my straw or my plain coniferous planks. We'll have a way to get around that. Well, we better do that early on. And when we look at healthcare jobs, the healthcare jobs will show up later and throughout the game. And the one thing I want to do here is I want to make it so that they can't use my healing bulbs, my healing compresses, actually the energy drinks, which I'll make use of in a bit here. I don't want them using the healing brew. This can be helpful if you really need extra needs taken care of, but it's not the best just to have this taken care of for needs, since this is much better by being used in recipes. For security, you can only really choose security jobs. For spiritual, I only like to use spiritual jobs because I don't want them to consume items for this, otherwise I gotta keep producing these items. And I will say, these items are fairly easy to produce, and you can get a lot of needs taken care of through them, but honestly, it's not really worth it, since you can just have a person working at a small shrine after building one of these statues and the shrine. For luxury, let's see here. When you click on it, you'll see these things drop down. Luxury jobs are going to be doable. We'll probably have plenty of that. We can uncheck all of these things. Honestly, it's not going to impact you too much. The big thing I want to do is I don't want them to use up pearls if I pick them up. And I also don't want them to use up my oil lamps by chance. And keep in mind, these things do go in order. It seems to be very consistent about the idea that it'll go in order of what you have is what they'll eat or use, consume in whatever way they need to. I don't want them to use paper because that's an intermediate. That's going to go on to another thing. And I don't really want them using ice. I kind of don't want them using candles either, right? Because that's my decoration stuff, right? Like, y'all be fine. We get jobs for you. Now, these, not a big deal because they don't consume them. It's just saying what are some others that are in our village. So if we talk about this idea, going back, all the way back up to food, when we look at our foods, they're going to consume the excellent meat meals first, and then they're going to go down in order. Now, these foods in excellence, they will give you, 75 villager needs? This one I have recorded. I have a whole video about these ones that I'll be editing and fixing up. The goal we're going to get to is making cooked rice. Honestly, that is the way to just be done with your villagers' needs for food. It gives you the most for the least effort. And then they'll do simple meals, and then they'll start moving on to cooked items, and then they'll start eating all of the raw stuff. And again, I'm choosing to uncheck these because I don't want them to eat my intermediate step things. I don't want them eating the things that I want to make into something that's more impactful for them. And as far as beverages are concerned, the big deal here for beverages is the fact that I don't want them drinking things that I can use for other jobs over time. And we'll make calabash bottles, but not the water bottles. They're not as useful, and they cost a lot for resources. Getting a lot of straw early is better set for your fishing huts than it is anything else. Okay, so that was a lot, right? That was a lot, and I appreciate you getting through all that, and there's a lot to do here, right? But once we have those things set, we are pretty much good to go. Now it is nighttime, and at this point in time, if you're the kind of person who's going to say, I think that the RP aspect for me is going to be a big deal, then obviously your character should probably get to bed and get some rest. What I'm going to end up doing is we're going to work through the night, and we're going to try to get as much as we can done since we are here. Now, there's a lot we can do right now. I can harvest all of these, burn trees down since I do want to make sure they are gone. I also know, and we saw, that there are a couple people on the shoreline when we were walking by before, and I would very much like to get them in a house. Now, I'm thinking that my next house is going to go here. There we are. More axes down. We're going to go through so many axes. Now let's check and see where we're at for Babe abilities to build. We need to get to Dynasty level 3. Okay, let's do some things here. Let's check. Number one, do we want to spend any points? There's one more perk to unlock. I think that this wouldn't be a bad one to take. I just love having extra stamina. We have Way of the Leader. We have 2 points in Way of the Leader we could do. This is kind of nice. If you plan on being a farmer, this is great. Because you can harvest certain crops very quickly. And it's one of those things where you can plant something in the morning, go do stuff, come back, harvest in the evening, and now you have a ton of extra resources. In the springtime, I like that to be done with tea, but tea grows incredibly slow. I'll be honest with you, this is the one I always go with because we're going to end up going and looting some chests in a nearby area, so we might as well go for it. Way of the Monk. Oh, we'll tell you what, let's do a quick thing here. You get Way of the Leader experience by raising your dynasty level, doing things that relate to you being a leader. You get craftsman skill by doing extraction actions like taking down and gathering resources or building things. Warrior, obviously, fighting. Anything that involves you swinging and doing combat or using arrows to do combat. And Way of the Monk experiences, you get this from, and you can go down here to highlight these, by the way. You get it by opening new shrines, you get it by making offerings at shrines, and you get it by completing certain quests or doing the repair projects for shrines, essentially helping the people out in unique ways. Like, for example, let's go get a Way of the Monk point right now. There was a quest we were supposed to do over here to help out our friend, and this was the Impure. Now, we have talked to this guy. Oh, we were already on this quest line. Apologies. So we have this... We'll finish up this quest line. Now, we need to talk to Matsumaru and say, he looks more alive, right? There we are. Quest completed. Okay, that. Now, like I said, let's check this. Because now we should be able to say, boom, Way of the Monk point. Initially with Way of the Monk, it gives you the ability to gain experience faster. There's going to be all different kinds of ways you can take this. I don't find that I need craftsman's skills to grow faster, so I don't tend to put this point here just because craftsman experience already raises quickly. Way of the Warrior experience raises rather quickly too as we get into more combat, and you'll see that soon. But I find that Monk experience grows slow, and I kind of want to have this here. So that's just me. You can put it wherever you like, honestly, and I would if I were you. Just place it wherever you see fit and wherever's best. Now, we did just gain a bit of experience, but not enough for us to get out of that setup. So let's do a thing here, which is to say we need a workshop. The next most important structure we could have is a workshop. We're going to clear this area out. We do need more sticks constantly. And given that it's nighttime, I really think this is a great time for us just to clear out all of Sosogi and have this entire place clean and ready to go for us. I am going to take, and I'm going to decide that I'm going to put my workshop right here. Oh, you know what? I can't. I have that building in the way. Here, let's put it in the wrong spot. And let's not like where we put it. And let's look at this and let's say, no, this is not where I want this thing to be. Well, now I built that axe, but I didn't have an extra one in the hotbar slot, so it didn't equip automatically. Let's tear this thing down. Because these structures are obviously in the way, and we do want to clear this area out so that we can start rebuilding Sosogi in full. And have this place ready for a village to rise from the ashes, right? To come back and, you know, save the people, right? And start building that peasant kingdom that we we heard about as we traveled. As we do this clearing out, I am choosing to gather these sticks only because I know once we put our building down, it's going to tear them. It's going to make them be gone and not present, and I won't be able to get them anymore. So let's tear this down. We'll tear down a few more of these trees. I want the area to look nice, and those trees they stand out in a bad way. So for me, worth the time. Like I said, Way of the Craftsman experience, it goes quickly, it rises quickly. We are really not in a bad spot for that. So as we go Each tree does a different amount. Obviously you saw 4 logs with the previous one. Ooh, hey, tell you what. Let's gather that. We can hold E to gather that one up. You may notice that we gathered some feathers, some sticks, and some eggs. In the early game, I find that the cooked eggs are the absolute best for your character because you will find a number of eggs all around the area, and it's really not great for your villagers. The needs that they get for it are so small in comparison to what you get, and since cooked eggs are easy to come by, easy to cook up real quick, it's nice as a quick food source for your character. And you can tell on the left side by our green meter with the little drumstick on it that our food is going down constantly over time. Alright, let's finish this building up. And, while we're at it, honestly. Oh, so many axes. You will go through so many axes, honestly. So many axes. And you could use your copper axe, but I want to keep that around just for special cases on things. For now, I have a lot of sticks. I have a lot of stones. We can just keep building those stone axes constantly. Matter of fact, we can have another one waiting for us right here. We can keep this up. As we gather down all these resources from tearing down the old buildings, something can be in our minds. The whole idea about, well, where do I want to put things? What do I want in this area? How do I envision this area being? If you saw my best locations video, then you know all about the different spots and some of the things to consider with those spots. This village, since it's on the coastline, it makes it a great fishing village, which means it's going to be exceptional at getting us raw fish as a resource. It's also going to be exceptional at getting us oil, which is going to pay off for us. And one thing I will mention is that as soon as you can start making oil, you have all of your villagers' needs for heating set basically for good. You just need to make enough oil from fish that you can keep up with the needs for heating. And then your firewood is going to be used in certain structures like your smelter and in making charcoal for your, for your furnaces way down the line. But those will be important things over time. And I find that with one person working in the fishing hut, gathering fish, and then the other person taking that fish and converting to oil, I can get a substantial amount of needs taken care of. Now, there is one thing. This has a storyline related bit to it. If you want to keep it because of that storyline, then you should by all means do so. It has to do with the leader of the Enjiro rebels being hanged there, and that being a symbol to the people. I choose to take it down because I want us to be thinking about the future and moving forward and not the past. So we'll continually tear these things down, and while we're in this particular corner, we are going to gather another bonus that makes Sosogi such the best place to be. As we do this, we get these planks, we get these sticks, we get this charcoal, and the early charcoal we'll use for our heating needs. Well, let's see here. Actually, I think maybe I'll take some of this grass. There we are. Now, over here, there's a bunch of straw, also copper, and also stone. This straw, we're going to pick all this up. We're going to end up with 102. We're going to end up with 86, apparently. Ah, there we are. I need this one over here. And we should be up at 100. Oh, I got 106 this time. Okay. Last time I got 102. We'll take down these. And again, just kind of cleaning this area up, I think helps a lot. And it's nice. It feels more like we can build here and we're starting fresh and we're giving people opportunities, and also so it doesn't look so, run down and burn down, right? We do benefit a lot from making this place cleared up. These trees will take you a while to get rid of, and they don't really get you much, but it is rather nice. Certain trees got burned down in the fire. While we're here, we could use more logs. So as you clear this area out, and you could leave some of the buildings if you want for any reason, you could even choose not to build here at all. More of that, and then holding E to harvest, they will come back. We'll continually tear these down, and now this area looks nice and clear, and we only have a few buildings to go. With this, we will have last time I kept track, it was over 100. I think it was 112 planks that you get out of doing this. Those statues that you see there, you can definitely pick those up and keep them, or you can have those for selling, which is not a small amount of cash. It's actually a decent amount. I'm going to show you a way that you can get cash based upon all of the planks we've been picking up, and it's quite a good amount of cash as well. But as we gather all this up, over 112 planks, that's going to do pretty darn well for us in the start here. Since a lot of our early buildings do require planks, it will be helpful to have those resources just sitting on hand so that our early buildings, we're just finishing them without having to do any extra work, and before we even end up with the woodcutter's hut. You will notice that I keep stopping and I keep taking grasses because I know how many grasses we are going to use, and keep in mind how much you're gonna go through a lot. Now, with our early house, we did build the smallest and simplest of houses for us and Akko, or Akko and ourselves. I would recommend that you tear that one down at some point, unless you want to keep it just because of theme, or just because you're like, well, this is our first house, it's the first one I built, it is special, it stays. That's good to go. You should do whatever you think fits your story or fits your style the best way. For me, I would recommend just taking it down, building yourself an upgraded house, so that we can have 4 beds rather than 2 beds in that area. And as you think about how you want to decorate this beautiful area, well, there's a lot of possibilities. The key will be making sure that we take care of needs so that there's less work for us and we can start focusing on the things that we want to do rather than the things we need to do. Alright, this thing is in such a bad spot. I really don't like that at all. So, that's okay though, because just like the bell, we can move any structure we want. And again, the fast delivery resources is all about that idea that you can just click, 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 and we'll have all of our stuff set here. Instinctively, I build an axe. Now, make sure that we get our hammer back in place. Okay, good. That one goes back into its hotbar slot correctly. That's good to go. And there's some of that needed grasses. Okay, and then we're going to need a lot more logs because there are a lot of different storage areas. Okay, oh, that's perfect. We have our first random villager or random refugee who's shown up at our bell. Oh, and I should point this out while we're here. These are leeks. These count as vegetables. Let's gather them up just for fun. We'll show you how they work and what we can do with them. And then with our first random refugee who happens to be traveling through the area, we are going to have a village that is going to start thriving rather soon. Sosogi is wonderful. We have all these different things in the area. You can see in the distance, you might be able to see in the distance there's some spike barriers. It's kind of like a rudimentary, kind of like a barrier around a fire that's trying to keep people out. That is a bandit encounter that we can go to in a bit. And we can showcase our combat skills. And also I'll show you some recommendations on how to deal with combat early in the game, and probably for the majority of the game in all honesty. Alright, let's see here. We have a lot of logs. Stones for this. We've gathered up a ton of them. That smelter will be important over time. We're not supposed to have the ability to harvest tin quite yet, but I will show you a little trick at the end. Perfect. This building is ready, and you see that there's a bed in there, which means we have access to extra beds. Okay, if I look at the foundation of this thing, it says T to move building. Now let's do that. Alright, well, I don't like where it was placed before. It just looks silly. Now, I can put it over here. Honestly, I can put it right there. I can put it anywhere I want, and then I can say, okay, I couldn't see what I was trying to do, so let's move it again. And then let's make it so that it's nice and set right here with a little walkway between. Ah, wonderful. That's good to go. Perfect. Now that's not bad. We are in a decent spot. Let's check how our experience is going. We are on the way to our next level. And it looks like Dynasty level 3. Well, now hold on. Because that means that we can build the woodcutter's hut. And to me, there's just no question this happens immediately. With this one, I can choose to rotate. I can rotate with R to bring it over this way, or I can use T to switch the other way. Now, there are some sticks right there that if I do this, I just lost them all, right? I could have gathered those first. So we could have gathered them so we had extra sticks, but right now with 400, I'm not feeling like we need to at this point in time, so let's not worry too much about that. But we do need to gather up our... There we go, that's what the extra axe was for. You can hold down E to gather the bushes that happen to be in the way of gathering your logs. I did leave a log on the ground back here, so we should probably go back and pick that up. And we can harvest more trees out here. You could also be thinking about, well, do I want to build structures out here? And in time, we will fill in this area. We also can gather up our resources and build a shovel so that we can dig up these stumps. Now, again, if we choose to leave the stumps behind, we'll have trees coming back, and that's not bad. And in some of these areas, we might actually want that. Alright, now that we are here, it is time to finish up this structure. And these early structures will rely heavily on sticks. They also, as you go through the game, you'll find that these just don't look as nice and don't look as ideal to have in your area. So at some point you'll end up rebuilding these, and you can definitely do that. And you can make a lot of changes to these things too. For example, if I press E, I can modify the material, but I'm going to have to purchase that recipe. I'm not ready to do that. F allows me to change what this looks like. I could actually make this into a window if I wanted. Sure, let's do that. And then there we are. Now I have a window here. So we can do that for these things. We can change the entrances. We could have made it so there's a walkway on the side. Let's finish this workstation up, and then immediately we stop and we go, hey, there's room for another workstation there. With a hammer out, we'll right click. Let's go to furniture. Let's go to production. And let's go to the woodcutter's hut, which is the type of building material we want to put in here. Oh, building workstation. We'll build another one. Hey, perfect. That's exactly what we need. That's 2 jobs right there. 2 jobs for chopping wood. That means we need a house. But now we just unlocked the standard house. Alright, with that, let's place it here. It says plants or deposits are blocking the way, so it looks like this tree needs to go. And I did tell you before not to really bother with those trees because they don't give you much, but when they're in the way, they're in the way. So we'll go here, and then I think that'll look decent. Let's go there. Of course, we are going to need more logs. Yep, we are going to need a lot more logs. If you're thinking, oh, don't you want to get your workers started quick so they can gather up their resources so we can start gaining things? That would work in a different setting. In Sengoku Dynasty, your villagers just produce at the end of the day. They produce whatever you ask them to produce, and it only happens at the end of the day. So if I have a worker and I assign them a job, and it is 1 minute before the timer ticks over to producing in the afternoon, just before the evening, they will automatically produce a full day's worth of things, no matter when I assigned them to that. So as long as it's before they tick over to the producing needs time, the changing from afternoon to evening, then I get the resources. Here's where those planks are going to pay off, y'all. And you may notice we did not have to spend 150 points to unlock the ability to build these plank walls. And as you walk through those doors, they automatically open for you. And you could change these walls if you wanted. I'm going to keep it simple for now. Let's just build our early structures and get ourselves our start. We will end up going through a lot of logs, but we are about to solve that problem. We are absolutely about to not be worried about logs at all very soon. We are going to be pretty worried about our main character's food needs, though. I'm going to let that food bar drop all the way down, and then I'm going to show you how that works. Oh, jumping trees. You have to be mindful. Got to be ready for those jumping trees. I just gather a few more logs, or sorry, not logs, but stones when I'm out and about, just because why not? This one's probably going to get torn down. Did I need that firewood? Absolutely not. Was it just there and inconveniently in the way? Yeah, it's okay. We can always plant one in a little while. And we can plant our own trees. So we can really restructure this area any way we want. We can landscape how we choose. Alright, we'll build these up. You'll notice that it looks like I have a lot of grass, but I will tell you right now, we do not have a lot of grass, because we got to build another bed. And we'll put it there. Oh no, so many hammers. There we are. And then let's get another bed up here. Okay, so I think you see the value in this structure. Now we have 4 beds here. We can take on 4 villagers. Let's do that. We are going to give ourselves a bit of a problem here, but let's make that problem and solve it. Why do you leave your home, flee, or heard from a neighboring village as the enemies came, and they executed the headman? Oh no, and he took the crops of the armory and punished the people. Why don't you come live with us? So if they had skills, and if there was like a skill set to the person, I guess I'd say since she talked about farming, I would make her a farmer. Now notice you can put her in the workshop as a person's workstation can also have a bed. I'll choose to put her in the house here. Now Akko is unemployed. Let's give her a job. Oh, we need to have our forager's hut too. Akko, we'll start you out as a woodworker. We need coniferous logs. Oh no, I selected coniferous logs. They're the basic, but I don't have a tool. Yeah, we can take care of that. And let's get you assigned as well. Let's put you as a woodworker here. And also, I only want to get coniferous logs. The rest of this I will take care of as the main character. As you're looking down here, you might be concerned already because we have less meals than we have need. Well, we have more consumption than we have production. And availability. Uh-oh. We'll get to that. It also says we don't have tools. Well, let's solve that problem real quick. I'll press F as I'm hovering over stone axes. And yeah, let's just build a bunch of axes. Since we've been gathering sticks and stones this whole time, we have plenty to build with. And now we'll go into our general storage, which you also can access in the workshop. And I'm just going to start dropping things in here. Remember, you don't have to be holding these resources as you're building, right? So you don't have to have them in your inventory in order to make them. I can even show that with this idea here. Okay, so we have all these things in here. We cooked our gobo, which is not bad. It'll give some food for them. Our workers now have... Oh, they just went away already. See that? If we go population, there it is. They're already working. If we go to manage job, we can see they're going to make 33 logs. She will do the exact same thing. And then the tool will degrade. You'll notice that it gives you tool slots. It tells you there's more value that you get for better tools. They give you more resources. When I look at that and I see copper axes and bronze axes, and then I see iron axes, I really don't give my workers better tools until I have iron and I have it well established. That's kind of how I roll with this. Now, if you wanted, you could immediately build a second woodcutter's hut and we could easily start producing all the logs we will need for a very, very, very long time. For now, let's go get our people here. Now we can choose to pick up these shells if you want, and if you get lucky you'll have some pearls and they sell for much better money. For now, let's talk to our friends. You want to be free and you're on a search for enlightenment, so in the event that at some point people have skills, you'd probably be a great worker for a shrine. Prosperous region, you're a trader, so then you would be great for us for that. Oh, it said village limit reach, so let's get you assigned. Now... go here, and let's give you a job. Oh, I don't really want to make him a woodworker. That's not going to help me out. Now let's check. How many villagers can I have? 3 out of 3. Then we need to do some work. Let's go complete some more things. Matter of fact, let's build ourselves a production building, a forager's hut. One of the things I don't want to do as the main character is I don't want to keep gathering up grass. I also want to start showcasing to you the things that we will need as we go off and try to liberate regions, because that is in our future, right? That is the thing that we will take care of. I think, why don't we nestle that little forager's hut back here? It could be nice in this area. We may have to move some things. I am going to gather up the sticks because, as you can see, it's saying we don't have a lot of sticks, although that's just because it's our inventory rather than the village inventory. But still, it is nice to have those sticks. This is going to be in the way. And that was good timing. Okay, let's build ourselves a forager's hut because it is handy. Oh, that's right, it is kind of an oblong structure. Let's go back to William's forager's hut. And it does have that extension at the back. Maybe this wasn't the right area for it. Could build it up and into here. That wouldn't be too bad, but I have some plants and things in the way. Tell you what, let's say we wanted to build here and let's showcase the use of this shovel, and then with this rain I also want to showcase the use of our farming. So we go over to the woodworking table. Let's go to farming, and let's build a shovel. It costs us 2 planks. And as well, we should make ourselves a hoe. It says we need a land field first. Okay, well then let's solve that problem. Take out our hammer, and if we want to build a field, we go to farming, land field. In order to make a water field, we are going to need clay, and it's going to seem like we don't have access to that early on, but we're going to have that very soon. I have discovered that workers can't generally go above 20, I think I found it was 24 or 5, just because of the limitations on production. Ooh, the fishing hut just got unlocked. You gotta bet that that's what I'm gonna go for. Let's make a second field here though. Now I'm gonna end up putting this in a spot that's gonna get rid of my wine berries. Now I'm not worried about that because I'm not gonna harvest them. Not gonna be something that I really care about. I'm going to make this field for me or for my villagers. That's pretty close to my woodworker's hut. I might want to think about that one. You can't pick up and move your land fields. So when you place them, you'll just have to destroy them and replace them. Let's go here. Let's make a wooden hoe. We can also make a water bucket, but that's in due time. Okay. When you look at this, 23.75, 22.8. 2 planks gets us 23.75. Okay. Well, let's make a couple of them. And now let's go do something with that. Now, obviously, we are in a spot where we're going to need food produced. I really want to get a worker making fish, and we do have the... We could build that forager's hut, but I tell you, it is... I can gather grass for now. Honestly, let's do the fishing hut first. Let's showcase that one and get that going. Let's go fishing hut. And then we're going to have to rotate this one. Oops, let's use T. Now you'll notice part of it has this water symbol on it. That means it has to be in the water, at least in part. There we are. Now this one is going to be expensive in the sense that it costs a lot of resources. It's going to take us a little bit of time to get this one up and running. You'll notice that we are just gathering up the perks left and right. It is really easy to get Way of the Craftsman perks, and that's why I don't like wasting my Way of the Monk point there, just because it's so easy to get these points. We do still have some quest lines we could easily be finishing up, right? So you know that we have those quests going on in the background. But right now, what I really want to do is I really want to get somebody fishing so that they can gather up a resource for us, and so that we can start getting oil soon. We will need the fish first before we can even start thinking about having oil. And again, the joys of having the village bell in this area are that we can build this thing, we don't have to carry everything with us. You're gonna notice that we are out of planks. Oh dear. Now we're gonna have to solve our problems with gathering up and using a workstation. Could we make another workstation? Oh, now, you might just have noticed in the lower left-hand corner, our food meter is now blinking, or at least the little drumstick is, which is indicating to us our health is now low, and it is at the point where we are going to start having problems very, very soon. So, with that, we are going to let it go a little further down, so I can showcase that idea about what happens when you starve your poor character. You obviously know what happens, so it's not like it's going to surprise anybody. Just to make sure you see how that works so you can see the mechanic. We should know all the mechanics as we're going. When I come over here, let's press E to craft, and then let's click on planks, and then let's look here. I have 14 coniferous planks I can make. Pressing F, I know I need a lot of planks, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 10, I'll press E, and now I make 6 planks per log. The reason I never took out an adze in the first place is because this makes twice as many planks for 1 log, 6 planks versus 3, and that's a big deal. We want to be sure that we're getting the most out of our resources, and that's how you do it. We could have a worker assigned to making planks, but honestly, I find that that's not worth it, since they can make 33 logs, and it really doesn't take me very long to make planks in the early game on my own. You could definitely do that if you prefer to have supply chains set up so that you don't have to do any of that extra work on the side, but it's totally up to you. Alright, with this, we're going to run into our first different resource, bark. And and then our second different resource, which is going to be the rope. Obviously another workstation is rather handy. We need lots of logs. This is, you know, pretty typical. We do need lots of logs in the early game, and you are going to find yourself running around quite a bit doing this. And we are tearing down a lot of trees in this area. We can plant our own, so again, you can either let these stumps regrow, or at some point in time later on, using a hoe, you can plant your own trees, which will be a great way to take care of things. Now I know somewhere out there, there are people thinking, hey, you picked up that leak a while back. What is going on with the leak? Why are we not focused on that just yet? I mean, here we are back out there where you found it. What's going on? We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Oops. Did I take one more? I can fit it in the inventory. I say let's do this. Let's get one more tree before we get there, just so we don't have to come back. Now, I did gather up some bamboo, right? You may remember that from before. So, as you remember that bamboo that I gathered up before, let's go and let's finish up these structures, because that bamboo is going to pay off. There we go, fishing workstation. Oh, I forgot to get bark. My bad. There we are. Now, with the fishing net rack, we do need to make nets, so let's do that real quick. I'll make 4 of them. I don't need to make 4, but we have straw and we're okay. There we are. We'll do that, and then our Dynasty General Storage is right here, so let's drop our straw into there. We'll probably drop those in there. We can drop the logs in there, right? We don't need to carry this stuff. It works just as well if we don't. Perfect. We can come back here and finish that structure. Oh, my fault. What is that structure? That is the Dynasty food storage access. We don't actually have a food storage, so it's not going to change anything for us just yet. If you do want to gather bark, sometimes you find it on the ground, but I find the easiest way is just to debark your logs, and then that's a great way to get access to some of that. Okay, let's check our timing here. It is still morning, that's good. And you might notice that my health bar is now dropping. Oh, well, that's a problem. Okay, so let's cure that problem. Let's cook some eggs, and we'll eat some of those eggs. That'll be for us, because these give more food to us than they do our villagers, and I find these to be very convenient for us. The leeks aren't going to give us much any food at all, but they are a type of food source that can be cooked. And while we're here, we'll look at that. Look at that, any vegetable and any herb. So we have 5, we need 5, we have 6 leeks, and we can make a simple vegetable meal, which gives us 25. Okay, let's go eat first. We can fill up that green bar. We don't need to maximize it. I do want to make sure you understand, keep 1 on hand. Now that we have our food bar recharged, it will regenerate. Our health will regenerate, that is, while our food bar drops. Okay. Now, let's see if we can take on another villager yet. Yes, we can. So let's take on another villager, and let's make sure that they go and then they fish. Let's see here. Do we have a job for everyone? First off, you, sir, you get a job. I need you getting fish. 66 fish for now is fine. Now, we're going to let them gather that fish, and then that fish is just going to sit until the next day, and then the next day we're going to have them make it into oil. As far as our needs are concerned, we only need heating, and then we'll need, we only need food, and then we'll need heating once we get our 5th villager, which is due to come pretty soon, due to show very soon. You there? Yeah, why don't you come live with us, friend? Perfect. Let's have you move in. We have all kinds of places for you to stay. We'd love for you to live with us. But I don't have a job for you yet, sir, so let's go solve that one now. I can solve that problem by giving them a job in the farm field if I had a bag of seeds, and I do not. And they are expensive, unfortunately, so we're going to have to work our way up to that one. For now, I do think we just need to finish that forager's hut. Back here, all full circle, let's take out that shovel, and then let's get rid of this. Perfect. We could have chopped it down with an axe and you get sticks out of it, but I just can't bring myself to do it because I'd prefer to have the log. Also, can you imagine trying to tear a stump out with an axe? Oh my goodness, that would be quite the process. Alrighty, let's gather up some more logs, and then we'll be able to finish this structure. And we'll be able to go and sell some things to our local merchant, who we are just so happen to be fortunate to live next to. And while we're at it too, we're going to use the most powerful tool in the game to do some things that are rather fun. And the most powerful tool in the game, if you don't already know, is the simple wooden shovel. Because it allows you to have access to anything you want. As long as you can find a small resource node, you can harvest whatever you want. I can actually have us getting tin right now without the correct technology, which means we can get to bronze right now at the start of the game. Easily. There we are. Okay, we have a number of logs. Let's finish that structure up. Bounce on in here. There we go. Now in due time, let's change these walls. Let's make them simple coniferous. Once we're rich, right? We'll get rich here soon enough. You'll find that taking down enemies really is kind of the go-to way to get lots and lots of money. They give you these little scrolls that are showing that you took down the bandits and took care of them as a problem. Hey, let's change something here. Let's press F and let's change this to a ramp. And let's press F and change that to a ramp. It's going to cost us more sticks, but I feel like that makes more sense here, right? We have a walkway in. Out here. These are all walkways in front. There we go. And sticks and logs, perfect. And then we have a wood storage, which we aren't going to access for a while. You'll see me rapid clicking making those things because I'm so used to just jumping through that. And then it looks like we're nearly done. Oh, darn. See, that's, again, that's that idea that we need so much grass. There's so many resources we need early on. By building in Sosogi, we have access to all of these things. It's just right here. Anytime I need it, I go gather it. I can build. We're good to go. Before we get our village up and running, it's really convenient. It's just nice to have that simplistic and easy. I just run outside and grab it, right? That idea is rather nice. Okay. And let's finish this thing up and let's get our guy a job. And speaking of what job he's going to get, he is going to get the job either gathering mushrooms. There we go. Here we are. If I go to healing, that's the first healing method you can get. It says any mushroom. Okay. Let's assign our guy. Alright, sir. We need a job for you, and I need you in the forager's hut. I want the forager's workstation. Now, I can have him gathering grass. That'd be 200 grass. I like that idea. I like not having to deal with that. These are shiitake mushrooms. These are edible mushrooms. I can get 76 of them. These are Tengudaki mushrooms. These are poisonous. I get twice as many. More so. Oh my goodness. So, yeah. You go ahead and gather those mushrooms. And then we'll make healing potions. You're going to note that we have a problem, which is that we don't have a well. So we don't have access to water, which that's one of the things that it required for us to build that potion was water. So we'll get to that. Alright, do we have some wooden hose with us? We sure do. Let's go here. Let's talk to Chiome. Since it's day 2, we have some quest lines we can wrap up, and we're going to do a lot of really entertaining things here shortly. One of the benefits to having our village here, as there are many, and it's why I recommend just doing this as your first playthrough. Have fun with it. Don't make it too serious. Just let yourself have a chance to mess around and just relearn the game. Let's talk to you because we have a quest. I heard you need assistance, and then the shrine is empty and we're supposed to make an offering to Inari. Then let's press F and trade. If I hold down left shift key, I can quickly transfer things over and quickly sell things. Oh, she has more money. Well, that's a win. Last time, I swear she didn't have this much money. 62. Okay. What we're going to do now is, you may see that there's a rice seed bag right here, and that is exactly what I want. I want to plant rice, because rice is the single most important resource in the game. Unfortunately for us right now, we can't do a lot with it, so it's not the best to deal with right now. It's not going to save us right now. What is going to save us, unfortunately, is going to be the fact that we definitely need more vegetables, and we definitely need to feed our people. Now, I can buy, if you notice, these things cost almost nothing. Right, so if I just buy all this stuff, I don't know why I would just buy it. I'm down to 100 coins. Yeah, that's not great. Oh, I can buy all the water, too. Why not? Buy the bucket? No. See, that's 14 coins. Now I'm getting stingy. I just bought all that stuff, right? And we can gather up some grasses, because we obviously don't have a person who's gathering it. Now, that gobo bag, that gobo seed bag, for sure. We could definitely have them, we could buy it, and we could have somebody making vegetables to make our simple vegetable meals. Oh, and you might have noticed, when I bought those things, wasabi counts as herb, Fantastic. Leek is a vegetable. Ooh, okay, we can make that meal. It'd be nice if I could find some more vegetables. I know where to get some. But first off, let's go over here. If you use your shovel on any of these small clay deposits, they're permanently removed from the game. That's okay, because when you mine them, they're permanently removed anyway. Now, if you tried to take out a pickaxe and do this, it's probably going to give you a hard time. But if you do this with a shovel, you just simply dig up the clay. We just got access to a technology bump right here. And again, Sosogi delivers. Sosogi has nothing but the things we need all around. We have copper, we have clay, we have stone all around us. We have everything we could possibly need. Oop, and I broke my shovel. Let's see, do we get fortunate enough that I can see any vegetables here on the horizon? Don't, and I don't, and I don't. That is a fox. But there is copper. We could take this Jizzo figure, and I could go sell that to her. That is a thing we could do. It is raining, by the way. I would really like to showcase to you the fields and the planting. Oh, it's like I just said the words and the game went, psych! So, if I would have gotten a bag of seeds and started planting, because it's raining, it would count as watered. Watered is the first step towards making your crops grow faster after just putting the seeds down. Alright, let's put all these things in the village inventory. Now, it is worth noting that right now we can cure our food issue by just simply saying, and let's check, it is afternoon, so we need to start thinking about what we're doing. I don't have enough meals. Right, let's go into priorities. And because we just did this thing, look at all that millet. I don't need the millet. Let's check the box for millet. We now have more than enough food for our villagers. Okay, perfect. We just solved our problem. Now, looking at those needs, minus 136 and we have 394. Alright, let's go here. Let's make one of those simple meals, because we can. We just gained experience, obviously that's a big deal. And also, now we have a thing that we can throw in here. Let's toss that in. Well, now we're at 419. That's perfect. So making those meals, really, it is the right way to go. And since we have all those extra herbs, if you can find more leeks in the area, that's going to be great. Now you can use those leeks to get us extra food in our village, and that's a nice way to solve that food need early. You will notice that, I mean, we went fast at villagers. Do we have heating? No, so we're set. I also could just head over here and we could gather up gobo. Keep in mind, gobo is a vegetable. It is considered a vegetable for all the purposes of crafting. So if we gather up a bunch of gobo, let's say we needed some more grass, because we really do. There's no reason why we can't. And let's gather up some more stones, because I'm going to show you what it looks like to have our water fields as well, just because we should practice getting all of the things, in case you want it. It's one of those things where why not do more right now? I'd like you to come out of this video knowing a lot, and knowing exactly what goes on, rather than just the surface level stuff. I want you to come out of this feeling like you're like, hey, I feel like I can handle the beginning, and I feel like, honestly, I can handle the intermediate parts of this game. I can get through this, and I can do a lot here. I feel like I've got it. That's where I want you to be. That's my goal. Because I love this game. I have replayed this game probably more times than is worth saying. I loved being a part of the early access. It was a lot of fun. Tried being a part of problem solving in development, but I'll be honest, I didn't have the ability to be on forums that often. Which I do have a Discord channel up, and I'm learning, and I appreciate everybody being very patient with me. For some reason, it keeps not staying permanent for my links. I'll get to that and I'll fix it. I'll figure out what I gotta do. But I'd love to have a Discord channel that we can check in with each other and see how things are going. You can ask for tips and tricks and share our villages that we're building. By the way, just as a fun little aside here, let's say I came up here and let's say I do want to make a little more money. And let's say I wanted to leave here with something more before I go, since I already walked up here, and why not? Let's press Q. And we haven't built a pickaxe yet. Let's build a pickaxe. Oh, shoot. Yeah, we did. My fault. We haven't built an adze yet, though. So let's build like 7 adzes. This is a waste of my stones, by the way. I would rather keep my stones for something else, but let's just go for it. Okay, we just built a bunch of adzes. That's fantastic. Hey, Chiomi. Want to buy these from me? They're 22.8. That's a lot of cash. There we go. And now we have 253 coins. Hey, I could buy that soy seed bag. Now, the reason I would choose to buy this one is because it's spring and it only grows in spring. I mean, I'm made of money. Let's go for it. We are also going to end up getting a free gobo seed bag, so don't buy the gobo seed bag. You'll get one for free soon enough. Oh, I could have sold the Jizo statue. Ah, see, that's a thing we could have done. Let's see here. Well, I did just pick up the gobo, so let's go cook real quick before the day shifts over to evening and we lose the ability to take care of our villager needs. If we don't need them to eat the millet, that'd be nice, but, you know, it's not a big deal. We'll be alright. Alright, we can make a bunch of vegetable meals. Oh, I said a bunch, but really we can only make 3. That's not bad. And you might say, hey, you've got those 3 fish. Sure, let's cook those up. Sounds good. Let's do that. We get free experience by doing so. Let's get that going. Alright. Now, let's go in here. I'm just going in here to drop stuff into our general storage. We were at 419, right? We'll just drop all these things in here because we don't need to carry them. I mean, there's no reason for me to carry this stuff around. Those eggs I don't need to really carry either. Okay. 521. Okay, we're doing okay. We're doing just fine, right? We are thriving at this point, and it did not take long for us to get to that point, right? So, let's look around and take stock. Yeah, I'd say we've done well. Alright, well, that being the case, it's time to get ourselves advancing. It's time for us to upgrade. I want to check one thing, because if I can build... that's costing us money, go figure. We'll go to village structures and production of workstations. Oh, 200 coins. I want that. So, let's start questing then. As we think about where we're at, I think it's worth saying we should be doing the helping of our area. Let's go do that. We use the cooked egg to offer to Inari. Okay, before we leave, it's worth getting ourselves ready to defend ourselves. I'm going to recommend that you make at least 2 bows, because they'll break. Now, let's put it into a convenient hotbar slot that we know we're going to use. And then we need to build arrows. Now, it is worth paying the coins for this. And, oh, here, I'll show you the difference. Because we might as well craft them. We get experience for crafting both of them. The damage for this one is 1. The damage for this one is 2. Now, it's not going to feel like a lot, but honestly, it's worthwhile. It's worth noting. Okay, let's make another of that. Okay, perfect. Now, I happen to know what our next few quests need, and I'm not going to just build it now before we go. If you want to do that, then make yourself a yari, a wooden yari, right away from some logs that you have. And then we'll head out and we'll go to our destination. With this, we are going to go on to the next quest. Could we take those gobo? Of course we could. But we don't need to, right? We're already good to go. Alright, we're going through. We're going to then run through this roadway here, and we're going to go on to the next quest line. Small bridge construction site. This, you may recall, is one of the liberation conditions we need for Sosogi. We need to construct the Sosogi small bridge. So if you want, you can have your hammer out and you can right click and you can go to basic structures and you can go to special project workstation and just put it anywhere nearby this thing. You'll see that it costs resources and I don't have them with me, but we can gather them up. Bamboo, stone, log, planks. Okay, well, let's go and do our quest lines, and on the way back we can take care of that at some point. We're not in a hurry because we're honestly way ahead of schedule anyway. There's another Jizo statue kind of at an angle. Now, we could, if you want, we could go walk on the walkway towards the shrine, and that would be an easy way to get there. But I'm going to choose to go up the river and show you the way to get there from the back way, so that you can avoid any conflicts that might happen along the way. We might also sneak up on one of the conflicts as well. Let's take out our bow, and you got to make sure you have arrows in that inventory slot, in your quiver slot. Do make sure that that's the case. We're running up that hill. Oop, this one's a little too steep, so we'll run around. There we are, and now we're on a flat level terrain. We're going to look over here because sometimes there it is. Alright, let's check our legend. We have perks to unlock. I'm going to take one more of this because I want to get better loot, right? That's the goal here. And then I'll take this because I do want to farm. Why not? Look at all the way of the craftsman. I happen to like taking the stamina just because it pays off in all aspects of the game. This one I don't tend to enjoy taking. It's not that worthwhile, and I don't worry about that because I make a lot of our resources. I'm going to say eventually this will pay off, because Skilled Constructor leads to you being able to drop extra resources every time you strike a wall, so you do more than one resource at a time. Hey, free stuff. I'm all about free stuff. In your game, you may not have gotten that. Oh, there we go. We just produced resources. So we just got a number of experience. Oh, we just got a bunch of experience. We just got a bunch of things produced. Since we're not in the village, I can't see all the things we got, but I do know that we should have a lot of lumber when we get home, and that's going to be so worthwhile. The bamboo is worth it for making more bows, so I'm kind of all about getting some of this. Alright, let's get up here. It looks like I'm stuck. We'll get through this. Yeah. And then we'll jump up. Okay. When you press E, you'll interact, you'll open a shrine, and then you get one of these animations. One for each of the shrines, and the types of shrines that is, anyway. And I love them. I just think the art's beautiful, and it's really neat to see. So now, we made that cooked egg, right? And that's kind of the key here, is that cooked egg is going to allow us to finish this quest line. So I'll press E to interact with. We just received the blessing, a Way of the Monk experience, and now we can run faster. So we get 10% per shrine that you activate while it's running. Oh, that was the sound of a wolf. Convenient timing for us to be able to run faster. I'm going to say right about now, I'm not exactly ready for fighting wolves just yet. It's not where I want to be. I'm going to head this way, since that's our next quest. That gentleman right there. We aren't going to be able to immediately talk to him, or get anywhere with talking to him. We have to talk to Kengyo first. So we'll go this way. I'm going to gather more stones because they're here and I need them. Our first day of producing goods has been completed, which is nice. We've done it. We've gotten a village set up and we have people gathering resources and supplying our village. Hey, warrior. Toshichi. I do appreciate they gave him a great voice. Really raspy and harsh. It's perfect. And as you read through the storyline, by the way, I'm leaving it to you to read the text in more detail, just because I want to show you how to play through the game, and I want you to go at your pace for things. By the way, if I would have brought a shovel, I'd be able to pick up that tin right there, right now, and that would set us way ahead. Alright, Kengyo told me you had a task, and you look distraught, and he said it's wrong to kill animals, and obviously this guy does not want to hunt. He would make a fine monk, that's okay. Alright, now, here we are, we're stuck, hunting rabbits. Now you're supposed to make a spear. Let's check our quest line, make sure we're on that correctly. We did that. Get a knife and a spear. Okay, well, first and foremost, I can't build a spear because I need to chop down a tree. So let's go do that. In this area, you'll find that there are deciduous trees. We could chop down a big one or a small one. We don't need a lot, so I'll just go down here and chop this down. It's just considered a basic tree. It doesn't say premium, so our stone axe will do just fine. Let's go Q. Let's make a Yari. Now we did gather up a bunch of stones and we've already gathered sticks, so let's go Q and let's go stone knife. There we go. Now we have to gather the meat. Let's put that in a hotbar slot that we can get at. Now we have to go. We'll take out our bow, and obviously if you hunt with your spear, when you hold down the throw button will be a right click, you'll see that it gives you a aiming. It shows you where you're aiming and how far you'll throw. It can be pretty handy. Now, the rabbits are a bit tricky in the sense that you gotta make sure... Oof, there we go. Gotcha. So the Yari is rather decent to hunt with, honestly. It's not bad. And let's see here. I'm looking around just to be sure I don't see... Ooh, I see deer. Now, our bow is really weak and is not going to do a good job at this. Deer will get you way more meat than rabbits will. So if you decide that you want to jump straight up to hunting deer, and what we want to do is we want to find out where we can get access to one. And then, ideally, we want to get those headshots. Ooh, and not shoot wildly. There we go. As soon as you hit the animals, they will travel slower. Oh, that's a good turn there, buddy. I'm just kind of wildly shooting at this point, my goodness. Alright, and if you try to run, it did automatically shoot for me. The health bar being up there does help a bit. It's nice to be able to see where they are. I wonder if I can get up there. It is running around near a shrine. What's going on here? That's what's going on here with this deer. Alright, well, it looks like you're going to be in a tough spot there, buddy. There we are. Okay, so we got Way of the Warrior. Like I said, it goes rather quickly. I'm going to gather that nest. Since I had a thing next to me, I could easily access getting out of the animation for the cutting of the deer. Now, let's go here. We'll open the shrine. We need yellow chrysanthemum. If you want to skip these at any time, you just hold down the E button, and then we immediately skip onwards. Again, I happen to like them. We'll skip ahead just for timing, because this video is quite long already. And we got a Way of the Monk. How about that? Now, we've gotten the food we needed. Let's go back down to our buddy. And we'll go ahead and turn in this quest for him. It doesn't hurt to gather more feathers. We will need them for... Oh, too much falling. Falling does damage to you, obviously, so be careful with that. You will regenerate health because you have a food bar that is full and you're not hungry. So do know that you'll regenerate health. And now that we've produced those poisonous mushrooms on the first day, we can now make potions. We're also going to need water, but we bought some water from Chiome, and that worked out quite well for us. Now, as I recall, we still have to cook our food. So let's make ourselves a campfire, and let's cook our food. I think they said 3, so let's make those 3. And again, we get a free bit of experience from making that first bit. Let's check our quest line. And cooked meat to him. You can cook on a campfire. 3 strikes and we'll destroy this thing. And let's go find our guy. Now he is over here. We can follow it using the compass. Track him. And let's go on over and talk. Now it's up to you what you say to this guy. Here, I have the cooked meat. Wait, you haven't eaten? And then you can choose the option you go with. I'm going to choose to support the kid and say you should eat. You shouldn't be going hungry just because you feel it's wrong to kill animals. It's a choice, and he doesn't need to force you to do that. But it's up to you what you decide. Let's go back to Kengoro. He's not going to be happy with me, that's for sure. Buddy. Yep, complete hunt. Do you realize he's hungry? Not your problem? Dude, he's a child, and it's your responsibility to help him out, man. Right. He's not happy with us, but we did get some coins. Now, while we're here, you might see that there's a question mark over there. Oh dear. Well, 2 question marks and a fire, and also those barriers there. Let's check how many arrows we have. 6 arrows. Ooh, but I have 30 stone arrows. Let's switch out. Now, let's try this out. If we aim at them from a distance, we should be able to get an easy hit on the first one. Now, I'm going to recommend that if you do this, you backpedal quite a bit and give them a chance to come towards you, but you just constantly go back. You tend to do a good job of just kind of... Nope. And one thing to note, I'll show you. There's a reason I hesitated. Dead bodies soak arrows. See that? If I would have shot at that guy first, his dead body would have soaked my arrow before I was able to fire at that guy. There's the thing I'm talking about. That is worth 50 coins. So we want that. Nope. Thanks for the arrow back, buddy. And they'll have random things, and your looters in your random encounter camps will also have a treasure chest that you can go back for, and you can get some free loots from. Rope? It's not going to seem like that's worth it, but honestly, I'm happy with that. So I am quite happy with that, as a matter of fact. Rope is a good thing. Now, I could take the Yari, just because why not? I can sell them, or I can leave them in our workstation area. But honestly, the Yari, they're not going to last long. You're not going to use them early in the game. Well, you can if you want, but once you have a bow, you're set. You don't need to think about those things anymore. The wooden Yari are very weak and not really worth it, and they're too slow to do the job. Since you can only throw one at a time and you need to carry a lot, and they take up a lot of inventory slots. Alright, we'll go back. I'm gathering up stones because I have a plan, and my plan is to build a water field before we're done here. Now on day 3, when we get done here, we are going to liberate Sosogi. As we head back, there's that project we were looking at before. Before the end of the day tomorrow, we'll have this project done, and we will be moving on. That was a bit of a fall. But again, we regenerate health, so not too worried about it. In this game, you totally have the free choice to do whatever it is you want. I mean, you can choose to move on and liberate the area as soon as possible. You could choose to just kind of chill and not bother with it. It's totally up to you. Now that we're back in the village, I'm going to build a water field over here, because I can. And I kind of like this area for water fields. So let's build a decent sized one that the people can work at. Here we are. And we could build a second one while we're at it if we want. It is totally up to us. This would be a great spot for us to do the work and us to plant. We don't have the compost pile, or the compost bin yet, which is an important thing for getting a fertilizer bucket so that we can actually grow crops effectively, but it's going to be alright for now. Okay, we have a lot of stuff. Let's drop off all of the things. We have a lot, right? I mean, looking at what we've just come back with, we're doing just fine. Our village needs, one of the things we said was they don't get to consume certain things. So like the prayer beads aren't going to be consumed for spiritual needs, and it's only 5 spiritual needs anyway, so it's not much. We're going to make more arrows because it's about to become combat time. And let's see here. At this point, we could take on more villagers if we wanted. We could take this opportunity to say, no, it's time to move on. I'm going to go to my population, and I'm going to go to my guy who worked at the fishing station, and I'm going to change his job. And I'm going to, or actually no, let's click manage job. Let's switch you out to making oil. Here we are. Look at that, 2,970. That is huge, and that is it. We are going to be fine on heating needs for a while after he does this. You'll note that it's got enough water to make this for now, but we obviously need more water. Our forager's workstation, let's manage that job. He just gathered up a ton of these, so let's change to grass, because that's the next thing I want. Alright, with that, we can, I think it's worth building a well. Let's make sure that that's done. Then we can put it by the bell, a well and a bell. What'll help here is that we get experience from that. I'm going to go make a bucket. Let's make 11 of them so we can have 1 to spare. The rest we're going to drop down there and gather water, and we're going to passively gather water. And what I mean by that is that we're going to dump our buckets down there, and it takes a long time for the buckets to fill, but they do fill automatically. So if I hold down E to drop buckets, I'll drop 10, and you'll note that a bar starts filling, and it will fill up to maximum. At that point, you gain 50 water per bucket. It's going to go fast. You'll be surprised. Now for us, our meals are being taken care of, we're set. I think it's time for us to move on in the storyline and to start making things happen. We can either do the special project or we can go attack the looter camp at night. I say we attack the looter camp at night. Alright, we'll get some of our resources set. I would like a little more water because I want to build some of those potions. Let's come in here, herbalist station, we'll go to healing, and then let's make as many of these as we can, because we're about to have a nice setup. So we'll make 20, and again, free experience, yet again. I'm making 20 because these things can sit in stacks of 10, and I honestly don't think you'll need all of them unless you decide to go into direct melee with your opponents. Alright, we need a hotbar slot for it. Let's go for 7 and 8. You'll notice that these are just kind of pointlessly sitting there. Oh, and if you ever want, keep in mind you can always build more furnitures in here. Furniture, production building, forager workstation. I can always build more workstations. And that can be a great thing. Oh, hey, didn't we have a thing that we needed to finish before? We need to get some bark. Just so we can make sure we're completing things, let's click on debarked, and let's just debark 1 of them. It'll get us 3 bark. Oh, we need 2. There we go. Now, we could also build, oh, you know what? I want a shovel in the background. just so that I have it on hand for what we're going to do out and about. And a lot of this, like this armor you see here, we have to liberate the Enjiro Rebels region. We could easily do that in the first year if we could just get ourselves going and get enough logs and things like that. For now, I have a good collection of things. There's the bark. Let's go finish that little thing that was almost done. You can sometimes find bark on the ground, but I don't tend to have a good eye for it, so I tend to miss it. So I'm not going to worry too much about it for now. Let's go here, finish this thing up. Yay! Now we're done with that. And then what we're going to do before we go and liberate Sosogi is let me show you the Enjiro Rebels in the area here. We'll get a little more cash. We'll come back and we'll have all these needs taken care of. And we're going to make it so that when we leave for the day, when we decide to head out from our area here to go take on the looters, that we can leave this place and know that everything is completely okay. See that bucket? We hold it down, we get 50 water. That's great. We'll put it right into here because we can use our storage for these things. Oops, that is not what I actually meant to do. Anything you want to sell, you can take with you. So for me, I'll take these and we'll sell them. Oh, speaking of which, why don't we make a bunch of wooden hoes? And we can go sell these. Let's go see how lucky we get with our looting. And then, after that, we're going to see how well we can take down the bandit camp. And then, we will be all set for our first region. We'll have liberated an area, and it's going to be really satisfying to know that we have gotten this place ready to go. It does look like there's something on the hill here. It's either going to be a refugee or it's going to be a bandit camp, or not a bandit camp, but a looter camp. Speaking of which, you may remember that we attacked 2 looters and defeated them. They count towards our 5, even if they weren't in the main camp. It is not going to be hard for you to get that taken care of, as in freeing this area. Hey, friend, what's your story? Okay, a new beginning. Well, we have got a home for you, friend. And I can have you live in the fisherman's hut in an empty bed. Watch this. Now that we have you... Oh, I need another fisherman's workstation. Okay, tell you what, that's the thing I want to do, is I want to have one more fisherman's workstation. I can assign him to the well, and he can gather water for us. I think that'll be worthwhile. We want to make a number of those potions, well, then let's get more water. That's fine for now. And that does take care of beverage needs, although honestly, that's not a big priority right now. It's still something I can do. If I was taking the time and making sure I had all the right workstations, I'd be very honest with you, I would want yet another... woodcutter's hut. While we're here, we could hunt boar. If you want to get some meat for your people, there's a person you can talk to over there, and it looks like there's a random encounter over there. Now, it's totally up to you if you want to go for these random encounters. They don't tend to be too bad. Oh, and there's boar in the way. I probably should be mindful. Boars are great because they can get us a good resource, so let's do that. Okay, we've taken on the boar. Let's go to our legend. Let's go to Way of the Warrior. I have a lot of points saved up. This is the best one to take early on because it gets you extra resources from taking down your prey. The other thing I'm going to want is endurance is great. Quick attack is great because at some point we'll have a knife and that's really what I want. Sprint attack is really handy. And parrying abilities I happen to think is the best for me early on because I do want to try to get in some ore-on-ore combat. Show you what that's like. There you go. Look at that. We collected more meat. We have fur, we have fat, and we have fangs, which is a bonus luxury resource which we can sell. And then we have some people over here who we can say, hey, dart in your neck. Oh, it turns out there's 3 of them. That was not the best. Okay. We're going to have to backpedal a lot here. And remember... Oop, that was sad. Remember to... Oh boy. There we are. Headshots do a lot more damage. And that does help a lot. There we go. As you can see, you gain a lot of experience rather quickly. That's why I was not worried about Way of the Warrior experience, because it goes so quick. There we go. And we have a number of little things that we can sell. Let's go gather our loot now that we have that little bonus. Hey, look at that. Mosquito repellent, that's big. And I say that's big only because I know later on, for medication needs, that is one of the top producers for medication needs. Yeah, one of my arrows was in the ground. There's a lot of stones here you can pick up as we go. We will stop by our village on the way home. Why not? There we go, some loot, free net. I will always take a free net because nets are worth it. Straw is a major resource in this game for early game. It's just a thing you're going to need a lot of over time. We can gather some shells and be ready to sell them. This area is the Enjiro Rebel camp. These are friendlies, so we can come in here and we can sell to them. There's a cave here that if you bring a good pickaxe you can get into and then gather resources from. There is a person to sell to here. You can talk to people if you like. You can take the statue, and you can also head on in here and you can look around for lootables. Because there are some lootables. Now I keep forgetting whether it's upstairs or downstairs. There we go. Oh no. I am going to need to find the person I can sell to. Hey, there's the leader. Oh, hi. You're exactly what I was looking for. I'm holding down shift and then left clicking and I'm selling. You'll notice this person has 300 gold left. I'm going to sell all those little things there. Now we're set. Shells, don't need them. Fangs, I don't really need them. Comb, don't need it. It's a luxury thing, but I don't need it. And from here, we've sold a lot. We have 881 coins. That's great. I could take these flowers. Honestly, I tend to do that. I'm just like that. I wouldn't mind having more feathers for crafting arrows. That is handy. I could buy, let's see here, how many do I want to buy? Let's buy 50. I mean, I'm made of money at this point. I can easily just come back here too, and I could sell more hose to this guy. Alright, let's check around. Hey, nice. We have some nice socks. Ooh, leather. Huge. Oh, that's an awesome hat. I like that hat. I happen to really like that hat, so that's a big win for me. Alright. Let's see if there's any other things here. Huh. These are not the best shoes. Does not offer much protection, but it's quiet. I don't think we should be walking around in the wilderness with just that on. There we go. Now I look like a mercenary or an outlaw. Let's go. Alrighty then, let's head out here. There doesn't tend to be any more loot that we really need to get, and we've sold a good amount. Now, let's take advantage of fast travel. Here's our fast travel location. We'll hold down E. We can go straight to our bell. Just click on it and press E, and then we travel here. And look at that, another guy. You, sir. You want to help us out here? Perfect. Ooh, we better find out if we have a home for you. Local population. Refugee departing. Assign home. Player village. You're gonna live in the workshop, I think, just because we need to start filling up those spots. I could assign you as a farmer if I just had the things. I tell you what. Here's something I think we ought to do. Let's make one more workstation in here, and then that'll take care of a lot of needs and allow us to produce oil and fish at the same time and not be stressed about it. Furniture, production, fishing, fisherman's workstation. Boom, right against the wall immediately. Perfect. Okay, friend. Let's assign you a job. I want you in my new fisherman's workstation, and I want you catching the fish so that the other guy makes oil out of it. Perfect. And you might note that we were also producing water because we have a worker there, and we also just produced a bunch because we dropped all those buckets in there. We're in a really good spot. At this point, our needs are set. We are going to be fine. Press N. Heating needs, I mean, look at that. We only consume 186, and they're producing so much that our surplus is going to surpass by a long shot. We'll take all the water, and then we'll just drop all of our extra stuff in here. The reason I say that that leather is huge is that leather is actually a later game resource. You cannot produce leather this early without having a tanning vat, and that tanning vat is locked behind other things. Oh no, we're out of planks. We're about to go liberate this area. I need some planks. Let's build them. You see, look how many resources we have right now. The next thing I would definitely recommend doing is making another woodcutter's hut, just because you're going to need more wood. You're going to need more logs. You're going to need more of these resources. This is something that, as you're building your village early on, it pays off so much in time, just having workers already doing that for you. I'm going to make 2 more bows because I know that they go fast. They break easy. We're also going to make as many arrow sets as we can get away with, because it is going to be all about throwing arrows at our enemies. Okay. That being the case, let's check our inventory slots and make sure we're not full of unnecessary things, like you can see I am. And let's see here. Oh yeah, that we're gonna take some people out Law and Order style. There we go. Appreciate that joke. In the first live stream I ever did, somebody cracked the joke. Order, Law and Order, and I love it. And it's so cool. That was a great idea. So shout out, dude. That was so fun. It was a neat little thing. And let's cook some eggs. Again, I don't have to be carrying these things in order to make them, which is huge. Makes it my life easier. Creature comfort wise, it's a big deal. Once these eggs are done, we're gonna travel up to Sosogi. I'm sorry, we're gonna travel up to Looter's Camp to free Sosogi. Maybe in the process we'll find some things that help us go a step ahead. Alright, from here, we'll eat ourselves a bunch of these. When you press 7, you're going to use that potion, so don't do it unless you need it. And, oh, I think we should turn in our questline for Chiome, right? I mean, we did it, so let's go for it. I probably should have done that as I walked into the village. Some of y'all probably did that already, so that's good. And let's go up there. We might be able to sell some stuff to her. I could probably sell, honestly, I could sell anything. We could sell some adzes to her to get a little extra cash, since we gather some stones on the way in and some sticks. Hey friend, the offering has been made, and Inari is pleased. Grateful for it, and we have a seed bag. That's another wonderful thing. She has 200 coin again. Oh my, well that's pretty handy. I could definitely sell a bunch to her. I want that rice seed bag. I'll tell you right now, that's what I want. Now, do we need to build a bunch of adzes? You might be sitting there saying, dude, you have so much money, what are you doing? And yeah, you're right. I really don't need to do this, and you don't either. But it is nice just to, since I have the resources in a quick bit of time, let's make as many ads as we can, which turns out to not be a lot. And let's sell them. And then, there we go. I could also sell one of these shovels while we're at it. Let's buy the rice seed bag. I'm holding down shift and I left clicked and now it's here. The reason for getting the rice seed bag is that I want my villagers to have extra rice. If we finish this year and we don't have the ability to cook it yet, that's fine. It will keep over the seasonal change. It will be okay. But having extra rice on hand is rather nice. So if we end up finding another person, I think it's worth it to do that. And I think it's going to be more than worth it to prioritize that. So we'll put that in there. Gobo bag will go in there. Let's find a person whose job is not the most important. You there. Let's change jobs for you. I'm going to set you into our water field. And then I have to press the plus. For some reason, it doesn't automatically assign them to do all the work. We're making a good deal of rice and koji mold. While we're here, it might be worth going back in here and saying, no, don't eat the millet. Oh, yes. Please eat the millet. And then let's go. Alright, I think we're in a good spot. It's time to free Sosogi. We'll go talk to Toshichi. He'll appreciate all the work we've been doing. I've been helping neighbors. And then we're just going to click through these. And he's going to say that good things have been said. We want to find his sister and have her join us. It looks like she's way out here. We can go get her and then travel inwards. She's quite a wanderer, isn't she? Up on the top of that hill is a lighthouse project that we can build way later. It'll be really nice. Alrighty, something I can help you with? Bridge to the future. Can't build it alone. Great. Hey, guess what? We have a home for you. And it's going to be handy. Why don't you live in this house? You are from the area and you need somewhere to be. And guess what? Now we can assign you to the well and it's good to go. Now we're making the water. Now we're producing the water that we had to get rid of before. Our next need will be maintenance at level 11 population, but look at that, we're doing fine. Our biggest concern is food, and that's going to be this way for a little while. Could I take the time and pick all these gobo, and then bring that gobo back with us? I could. Absolutely do that. But we're not gonna. because it's time to free Sosogi, and we're at the end of the season. If you kept all the settings at their default and didn't change the length of the days for seasons, then we are at the point where we're going to be at the end. If I press M, oh, day 3 out of 4. Never mind. We do have a bonus day. We're going to run across this bridge, and we're going to see if we end up with a challenge or not, and it looks like we got lucky. In your game, you might have ended up with enemies here, and if you did, good luck with your fight. Just make sure that you go back. Oh, the daimyo is oppressing you. I believe it. That's what we fled as well. We'll assign you a home in the forager's hut. You might note that we are now out of places. And you know what we could do now? Talking about all this need for vegetables. Go ahead. Let's get gobo so that tomorrow we don't have a vegetable problem. I could also go back and I could plant some of my own things, but for now, we'll just go. I really don't need to gather up the nests, I'll be honest with you. It's a force of habit. Whenever I see a nest, I try to remind myself to get it just because, you know, for me it's like, well, just get it. You might need it. Anyway, let's put our shovel over here. I'll show you the trick I was talking about. Medium node, small node. E, permanently remove. I just got copper. And I got it without using a pickaxe. And any node at all that I find, if I find tin, I can do this with tin. If I find iron, I can do this with iron. It's, the shovel's overpowered right now. I'm guessing that gets patched. But for now, enjoy the exploit if you like. Or don't. It's totally good either way. You won't need the exploit. I'm choosing to go up this route just because it happens to be kind of handy for getting there. If you want to take this fight on and be done with it as fast as possible, then my recommendation is to avoid doing the direct route. You do not need to Leroy Jenkins your way into this place, unless you really want to, and you definitely can, because looters are rather weak, and as you get practice, you'll get better and better at the combat and just juggling them by running backwards, firing arrows, running backwards, firing arrows. You can also jump yourself onto a roof, and I know somebody was talking about this in one of my videos as well. It's totally true. You can do the stealth archer on the roof thing, and they can't get you. You just gotta aim carefully and find a good convenient location where you can fire at them from above. Oh, it can be done. There are a number of baddies in there. You see all those question marks up there. But here's where the main baddie is. And what I'm gonna do is, well, I'll tell you what. If you want an easy life, if we do this, if we just go boing. If you want an easy life, guess what? This is an easy life. Hey, buddy. There you go. Now, is this the right way to do things? Totally up to you. Totally up to you. But I will say, oh, man. Can we get to the other roof? Oh, you people are in such trouble. Yeah, that's going to be tough for you. Alrighty, then, since we're here, it's going to be a bit tricky, obviously, because I can't really get a good shot at him. Now, if I have my arrow knocked, I might want to do that. So, if you don't want to cheese it like this, don't. Oh, that was a bad shot, man. We also can just go down here, and we can also face this guy direct. Oh, that was a definite miss. We do want to try to get headshots as often as possible. And as we go, then that's what I'm talking about with the bows breaking. Now I'm going to run away. I'm going to go back and fire. And then I'm going to run. And unfortunately for me, this guy is decently quick. Oh, that's right. Another thing you can take advantage of if you're not feeling up to the combat too much is he tends to kind of not be able to walk past a certain location. So you'll notice that he'll keep coming at me. And he'll kind of have this whole like, oh, enemy, I need to go back and get it. But he also has to go back and stay within a certain distance of his home. So this is a rather cheesy way. It may feel a little rough. If you don't like doing that way and you want a more honorable fight, well, that's, you go for it. But if you don't care, then we're okay. It's up to you. Again, everything totally up to you and how you do this and how you play through. Is it what I would do? It doesn't matter. It matters what you would do. Alright, then we can take this one kind of bow, basically giant club, and then we'll go in here and we'll find our loots. Wrong house. Let's go in here and find our loots. We're looking for the Looter Leader's Horde. Now, you get some bandit clothes and a bunch of coins, and that's fine. It's not really gonna get us anything good. It's not gonna take us ahead anywhere. So with this camp, we don't tend to get a lot of the great stuff. We're gonna get a lot better stuff when we do the thug camp later on outside of Iwasake and other areas. Now you're gonna note that here with a bow, you are absolutely unstoppable as long as you're cautious, because they have incredibly low hit points. There's loot all around. They have very low hit points, and as long as you can keep them at a distance from you, it's no question. You will continually just win. So, if you so choose, you can continue to finish this entire camp off. You can just go around and take out every single looter that you want. Now, if I look at the map, we're done. We've taken down 5 looters and a looter leader, and I want to prioritize my village. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get these last boys here and get some experience, and then we'll get out of here. Remember, dead bodies soak arrows, like that. Oop, that's a bad shot. Let's say we want to actually fight this guy for real. So, we'll press T, and now we're locked on. If I hold down this button, I'll do a power attack. If I press my left alt, I'm blocking. Now this, strong attack then weak attack, will get them into a break, and then I can just take them down. There we go. So, up to you what you do, up to you how you face this area out. Take that dead body arrow. Oh, a chisel. That's a big deal. The chisel is a nice early game unlock. It's good to have. Anybody up here? Oh, there's a guy over there. Not a lot to loot. Now, if I go up here, there's going to be a lot more enemies, unfortunately. There's a guy. Oh, there's a couple guys. Alright, well, let's see here. Where do I want to go? Oh, hi there. Yeah. We'll just move on past these guys. Could we take them all out? Well, of course. Of course we could. You there. It is time to do power attack and then knock them out. There we go. Pressing T again will unlock me from them so I can move on. Or I can press T and we'll try to do a parry. Oh, you sir. Power attack and fast attack here. We'll hold down block. That was a hit. Let's see if we can parry this guy. Nope, he's too busy being distracted. When they get to that state where they're in the guard break, then you'll find that they are a lot more easy to damage. They take extra damage, and obviously they aren't attacking you, so that's a big deal. Well, now that we're here doing this, I mean, come on, let's go for it. If it weren't for the fact that it's a stone knife, that's actually a pretty tough weapon. The fast attacks are so quick that you tend to do a good job of blocking your enemies up. There we go, that's a parry. If you time it right, you parry their attack and it blocks, or it sends them backwards, and it has a good chance to put them in the guard broken state, which then gives them more damage, and you in a spot where you can just take them out pretty quick. Alright, let's see what kind of loots we get. It's looking like this loot's really not the best, so I think we just go. We can do a lot more in our village at this point, and on the later parts of the game, you'll find the loots are quite nice. You can sometimes get special unlocks, good weapons, and there's another arrow. Pretty sure we got everything from you. Alrighty, buddy, we're out of here. There was another arrow I just left on the ground. It's okay. We'll make a whole lot more. Let's go back home. Later in the game, you'll be able to build a fast travel location, which is exceptional. It will make it so that you can get from start to finish, from one spot to another, in an instant. Now, you can place them wherever you want on the map. You can even move them with your hammer by holding down T. The thing you need for it, though, is going to be bronze, and we obviously don't have that, so that's going to be a problem for us. In order to showcase the tip that I mentioned before, which is the overpoweredness of the shovel, if you choose to do this, and again, this is where things, to me, actually do get a little exploity, if you will. A little cheesy, a little over the toppy. So if you do want to do this, it's up to you, your choice. But it's really going to break some of the timing that you're supposed to do in the game. And it's not that I'm going to hit this deer with a shovel, although that would be comical, to say the very least. we're going to run up over this hill, and on this hill there will be tin. And that tin is going to get us a win. Now, I hope that as we do this, we find it soon. I don't want to go too far. Now, it does say I permanently removed the bush. It's okay. It's one bush out of the many. We'll live. There it is, small tin ore node we permanently removed, and now we've just unlocked bronze. And if I go here, I can also get more tin. You can't do these because they are larger than small deposits. So anything bigger than a small deposit, you cannot harvest with a shovel. Alright, if we go over here, we can gather more, obviously, and, you know, I mean, it's totally up to you what you do at this point, but I'll show you what you can do with it, just so you know. And obviously, at this point, we could go do the same thing with iron, if we could find an iron deposit. Oh, that was stone, so we don't need that. Could I spend the rest of my time up here gathering a bunch of tin? Obviously, yes, for sure. But we're heading home now. We have some projects to finish, we have a lot of loot to get rid of, and we have some things to sell. We're going to head down here. These fruit trees, those pink blossoms in the distance, mark where Chiome is. I'm going to go to Chiome first, because Chiome happens to be a merchant who I'm going to buy from. I do want to point out these things right here, because in a season or two, actually in 2 seasons, this is hemp, and we'll be able to harvest this, and it allows us to build linen. So it's worth noting where this is at, just past the trees, on the way up the hillside. And in the autumn season, they will have reddish leaves on them, which will look nice and stand out. You'll be able to see them quite easily. As we get back here to Chiome, I realize I would like to have made my energy drinks, but we can get to that in a moment. Alright, Chiome, I got a lot of stuff I want to sell you. So you can choose to keep the dice sets or sell them. It's totally up to you. The paper beanie mallet has a purpose later. Stone jugs are worth keeping, honestly. Clearing tools, you can build them later. I'm going to get rid of them. And then a whole bunch of these. Boom. Let's sell everything we can. Is there anything worth buying from her at this point? I really don't think so. We have over 1,000 coins. It's time for us to start making purchases of things that we want. When you look at that field, you'll notice that some aren't filled in, which means that the work isn't being done on those parts of the field. The amount that a person produces, 1 equals 1 cell, 1 single space on that thing, and that produces a certain amount of resources. I have a whole farming video that'll be up soon that'll talk all about that. You as a worker also can do cell by cell things. Alright, here we go. Now, with all the stuff we just gathered, something that's worth thinking about here is that I can take and I can get one of my population. As a matter of fact, the simple well, I really think, let's change this. If you want to get some early stuff in, then here you go, make bronze. Oh, I don't have enough firewood. Okay, let's go solve that problem real quick. We'll go here and we'll go click over to firewood, and then we'll turn as many logs as we want into firewood, and then we will have firewood. It's 8 per log, which is better than you can get from chopping down trees, is better than you can get from chopping them down with an axe. So obviously these woodworking stations are a big deal. Now, over 100, we have a lot of firewood, and it's helpful. It is something we can just place into here. There we go, I'm holding on left shift and then left clicking, and it drops them in. Let's check that job again. Now you'll notice that our person, we'll go back to that, let's manage the job. 29 bronze, huh? Well, that's pretty significant this early on. I won't be able to build bronze tools, but I will need that bronze for certain workstations and for making my traveler's outposts. I could also choose not to make the bronze, and I could just simply wait. And also keep in mind that when you liberate Sosogi, you're going to end up with access to copper tools, and then you can properly harvest tin. So if you're concerned about that, if you don't want to do it that way, that's totally okay. You do your thing, it's all good. I'm going to take a bunch of bamboo, left clicking and bring it over. We'll need some of these planks, and I think we also needed stone, if I'm remembering right. We're going to go build our special project, and then that's going to be really it. We're going to be at the end of this. It is a long video, but I wanted to give you as much detail as possible. I wanted to show you all of this happening and doing it all for you, so you could be actively knowing what I'm doing and what you're doing, so you can follow this along, and so that this would be a very detailed and helpful resource. I know it's a long video, and I appreciate you sticking around all the way to the end. If this has been helpful, please do give a like, a comment, share it out. It helps me a lot as a creator, so I appreciate that. Alright, let's build this beast. Alright, that's going to be logs. Oh, another hammer down. Now, since this is outside of the range of our bell, I can't just put my resources in here. So let's add resources. If I hold down E, I'll add everything I can. Oh, I did bring enough logs. Oh, look, plank, E, there it is. Now it says one worker. You do not need to assign them as a worker today. When you assign them as a worker, it's when the season's going to change. So for us, I'm going to recommend right now, don't assign the worker. We're going to wait till the end of the season. Because we have a whole day, we could actually do even more right now. And it's totally up to you what you do with the rest of your time. If you want to focus on making this village huge and expansive, I mean, look at all the room we have. We have so much space. The things that might help you get a leg up for later are, well, let's see here. Let's go in farming. I will need to build a composting workstation, or I'll need to buy a fertilizer bucket from somebody. One of the two of those. You don't have to do this, but it's something that I tend to do. I just like it for the aspect of just having, I don't know, RP aspects, kind of, sort of. We aren't going to have rot, which is a problem, so we'll have to solve that problem. We can solve that by just having food rot in our inventory, or going to buy it from somebody, honestly. Let's see here. I would very much recommend that the next thing I build is another woodcutter's hut. We can also build a mining post. These are incredibly handy for maintenance later. That tree's in the way. And at this point, the key here is that you have nothing but possibilities ahead of you at this point, and anything you do is completely up to you. Oops, that's me wanting my shovel out of here. Let's get that going. And let's see here. Let's say I did want to make that mining station, just so I can showcase one more thing for you. Do we need to build a hunter's workstation or a hunter's lodge? Yeah, you could. I don't find it to be necessary as much anymore. It will be necessary because there are quest lines in each of the villages that you can do. Ooh, look at that. We're running out of logs already. We'll jump up here and let's get this going. Now the reason I said that that chisel was such a big deal is that that chisel allowed the unlock of some of our special workstations. There we go, we'll need another log. We'll need 2 more logs. Oh, we're gonna need 3 more logs because that hammer just dropped the hammer. Now let's see here, what time is it? It's afternoon. Our people are probably about to make all of their resource, or probably about to produce things. We'll do a quick thing here. Let's look at our workstations. Let's go manage jobs. Notice that this hammer, or this axe, is now down 2/3 of the way to 1/3 remaining. After this, that axe is probably done. So we got about 2-3 good work days out of it. That's not bad. So now all I'm doing is waiting. I'll gather up all that water. We have a bunch of water we can put into our general storage. We can even start thinking about building our... Well, what could we do? We could start thinking about rebuilding some projects. There's a project up on the hillside that is the Jizo statue. We could do that. We could go to Enjiro Rebels, and if you want to unlock bronze early on, if you want to get that bronze armor right away, then all we have to do is construct the Enjiro Watchtower, which is honestly very doable as long as you're willing to run away from some bears, perhaps. There's a lot of possibilities, and all of them are completely good choices. The fact that this is 2 hours long now means I think I should stop. I appreciate you spending the time here. Please do keep in mind that you play this how you play this. I hope that this works out well for you and that you enjoy your playthrough of this game. I hope that what I've shared with you has been useful for you, and I hope that it helps you to play this game and enjoy this game in a way that is bringing you back for more, because I know that I have come back to this game many times. I constantly want to play a different version of it. In other words, I try to think about, like, well, do I want to do an RP playthrough? Do I want to... What do I want to do? And I always end up coming back to this one. So I enjoy it. We'll finish up this workstation just because for completionism, right? Looks like we have logs to go. and stones. And you'll find that stones become a problem. Over time, stones are going to become a problem for you just because it takes so much to gather them up. It's time. Again, you can use the shovel trick to do that. Let's finish this thing up just so I can show you this before we're done. It is nice having access to the stones here. Sosogi, truly Sosogi is really the best area to build in your first playthrough. And then decide what you want to do from there. Because later on you're going to find that Sosogi is limiting. It is great for a production center, but it's not great because it doesn't give you a lot of resources that you need later on. So Sosogi is good, Sosogi is wonderful, but it's not your ending point. I will also say that later on in the game, when there's that flyover, there's a point in the game where you get to go to a watchtower and it does a flyover of the entire area. Sosogi is one of the featured areas that you fly directly over. So if you have a beautiful village there, you can fly over it. You can fly over it at nighttime. Whenever you arrive is the time you do the flyover. You can fly over it whatever season you want. And I know that I really love watching Sosogi be huge when I do that flyover. There we are. We got our stones. We still need planks. But again, that's all because we're waiting for our villagers to produce. It is afternoon, so it should be there pretty soon. I was going to just skip ahead, but honestly, if you want to skip ahead at any point in time, you can just do this. Oh, look at that. So let's just wake up in 3 hours. You can sleep in any bed you want, and it'll skip time forward. There we go. Now, it should have said that villagers produced, right? So let's go. We will need some planks. Oh, they didn't actually produce quite yet. I must not have selected enough time. There we go. Now, there we go. Now we've got it. There we go. And we ended up sleeping, and because we got bronze, we unlocked a number of things. Let's make our planks real quick. You could definitely debark these logs before you craft planks out of them, which will allow you to gain bark and planks, which is totally up to you. Again, it's really, you don't need a lot of bark at the start of the game. And as far as paper bark is concerned, we aren't going to be making paper in the early game. Not simply. There we go. We now have a stonecrafter's workstation, a masonry workstation, and I'm going to recommend right away that you go to your production building, go to furniture and production, and then let's go make another miner's workstation right away. There we go. Now I can assign people. Let's take our guy here, let's change jobs, and let's put you in as a miner. And let's say that you're going to gather stone for us, because you're going to need a lot of stone, and it's just worth it. And all it takes is a stone pickaxe. We're good to go. We have bronze already. It's going to be quite a thing to see. Let's see what we can spend for experience points. If I can get... And I get the Zen Gardens is nice. Oh, Traveler Outpost. There you go. Now I have one of the most powerful things in the game already. Just for fun, I'll buy the Zen Gardens. And then you choose your points how you want to spend them. But I'm going to start focusing here so I can get to the point where I can do this, where you add more resources to building as you build. We have a lot of resources here. Sprint attack is great, parry is great, really handy. If you're going to use a knife, then you want quick attacker. If you're going to use powerful things, powerful attack is good. Advanced dash, great, nice stuff. You can gain less stamina loss for your bows, and you can also get better damage with your bows. And honestly, since I'm going to be using bows a lot, let's go. We'll take some Way of the Monk experience, and then you'll see that you start getting these extra craftsman focus, which means you get stamina, or you get extra health, or using less food, which honestly, you're going to do fine. These come later in the game and they're not really worth it at that point, and fast traveling costs are basically nothing. So these don't tend to pay off later, but it's something. And then I guess I'll just do... Yeah, let's get a little extra health. Why not? There we go. If you want to find rot, you can find a merchant outside of Iwasake, right around here in the walkway in. Oops, sorry, this walkway in, sorry. And then that'll allow you to buy some rot from this gentleman. You can also find a guy in the temple, but that's a bit of a walk. My recommendation next, if you really want, is to go unlock all the fast travel locations. Here's Segi. You can just walk to it and get a fast travel out of it. And then over here is Aratane. You can get a fast travel location just by getting to it and seeing it. Here's Iwasake. You can walk over there, get the fast travel location, you're good to go. And then you can fast travel to any of them. The temple is up on top of the hill here. You can also get that fast travel location. So they tend to be really handy. If this were me and I was playing right now, my next step would be to go to this watchtower. I would need to bring a lot of things with me, but since we have a fun little thing here, if I go to basic structures, if I go to Traveler's Outpost, I just need to remember to carry 2 planks with me, 2 bronze with me, and 8 bamboo with me. And then I can put this Traveler's Outpost right next to that tower. I feel like I'd be bad if I didn't show you how to do this, because it just feels like the right thing to do. So I'm going to get there. We're going to have to travel. I don't think we have a lot of quick, fast travel ways to get there, but Enjiro will at least get us closer. So I'm going to quickly get to that spot. I feel like it wouldn't be right if I didn't show you this and just do this part. I mean, we're here. It's already been this long, but yeah, it's going to be only about 5 minutes longer, so I figure you probably appreciate more than less at this point. And I can make a shortened version of this where I skip some of the steps on things and just get straight to the point as well. So if that would be something that you'd prefer, by all means, let me know that comment if you'd prefer to have the shortened location, or the shortened version. You'll notice that it did mention we have bears here. And there's going to be turnips over here, which is handy. We'll gather those up so we can get an unlock. And it's nice to have the unlocks for the extra experience, but that's all we need it for. Oh, I'm sorry, it didn't give us the experience. It'll give us the experience when we craft it. Crafting them will require us to have a tailor's workstation, a tailor hut. That's not too hard for us to get later on. It's a bit of a walk, you see. There's leeks as well we could gather for veggies, but we are pretty much good to go. Wolves are a problem. They're much faster than bears, and it can be a bit of an issue. If you want to take a safer route, then I recommend going by Kengyo. You'll remember where his camp was. You can easily travel this way from there, and it'll be quicker, safer, and better. Looks like I'm going to have to deal with a fight over here. Oh, and there's 3 of them. Well, okay, fine. We'll see what we can do about these ones quick. Oh, bandits, nice. So a bandit is good because it's a different type of character for a later unlock. Or are they just roadside peoples? Uh-oh, I'm doing pretty bad here. Now, get out of the way. You can choose to run a bit. I should have made energy drinks. That would have made this even easier. There we go. With the knife, they can do a very fast dash attack on you. And at this point, I think we need to take out our ore. Press T. Oh, now we had our guard broken. There we go. We're getting low on hit points here, so we will have to be a little mindful. And then let's find our way over here. I need my stamina to regen. They tend to get easily confused. There we are. Alright. I'm here with a purpose. You can loot those bodies if you want. Burn ointment is great for medication. Okay, this is it. Let's build ourselves that travel location. Traveler's Outpost. And we can put it as close or as far as we want. There we go. Perfect. Now, we also need to build the special project construction. And let's put in as many resources as we can. And because we brought so many things with us, we now need to drop in our bamboo. I'll hold down E to drop all that, press F, and I can switch to the next one. I don't have any straw with me, so let's do logs. Put F and we'll go planks, all the planks. Now what you would do is just go back to your village and then go for it. In order to make this easy for you, keep in mind that as you go back, because I do want to make sure all of this is set for you. When I go to farming, or when I go to village workstations, I'm going to go to Shrine Rack, which I do want to pay the coins for. I'm going to put this in front of this building here. We're going to build it up real quick with bamboo and grass. I'm going to hold down E because I need straw. And then that's going to drop 100 grass into here and it goes fast. Okay, now you just need to remember the resources you were going to bring there. We needed more bamboo. That's one of them. We needed more logs. That's a big one of them. And as I recall, we needed a bunch of straw. Doesn't look like we have a lot of straw here. There it is. And from here, we can go back to Traveler Outpost number 1. And when we're here, we will drop our resources in. Let's go to F, we'll put bamboo, and hold down E, that dropped them in. Let's go logs, hold down E. We're one short, we'll go to straw, hold down E, boom. We only need one log. I can fast travel there and just get it, or we can just chop down a tree. Okay, with that, you're gonna find that we are in a really good spot. Alright, we'll hold down E, that's it, and we only need 3 workers for this. Okay. Let's go back to our village. And by the way, let's do a couple things quick here just so we have it done. Creature comfort things, right? I'll press N, I'm gonna go to a village, and I'm gonna click on this writing part here. And I'm gonna click in here, and let's name it Sosogi. And I'll click E. If I press E, it just types in E. There we go. We've named it Sosogi. Alright, with that, we're going to change seasons, and I'm going to show you how that works with our changes in our workstations. Nobody's producing right now, which means I'm going to take this guy. Let's change jobs for you. And let's scroll down until we find Sosogi Small Bridge. There you go. He's assigned there. Let's press Escape to go back. You there, the miner. Let's change jobs for you. And let's go to Enjiro Watchtower. Great. Let's assign you. Let's click on another person to say, how about the... Well, let's go carpentry workstation. Just because I know we can get more. I kind of want the fishing to keep going because we'll make lots of oil and we'll be set forever. There we go. We now have all the people we need for those jobs. And here's how it works. When we go here, we can click E to change season and hold it down. You'll notice that we still have to take care of our needs. Ooh, the meals are a problem. So, if that be the problem... Let's go and let's solve it real quick. We could easily have solved this. Oh, that's right. We just got a bunch of gobo. So because we planted that gobo and because we had that worker making that field produce, it means we have a bunch of vegetables. We can do simple vegetable meals. Each of these is worth 25, which is great. Now, are there other things I would have done in this early season? Yes. Is this good enough? Absolutely. We have done a lot of work. You have gone through 3 full days here, and we have produced quite an amount of things, right? We already have bronze. We're doing fine. Okay, now that we have the meals all set, let's hold down E, and now we have summer 25. We're doing fine. Let's click Change Season. And now you're going to end up getting an animation for each of the things that you produce. So for this, it's going to show us that the bridge project was completed. And the next one is going to show us that the watchtower was completed. Could we have done more? You can do as many of these special projects across your seasonal changes as you have workers for. So you can pack a lot into a season. You can pack quite a bit as you go through the game into a seasonal change, as a matter of fact. And here you'll see that now we have the Enjiro Rebels region. And we're getting some of the similar animations, but we'll also see that the watchtower is the thing that they're showing us is completed. And then when we're done, it'll tell us that we completed those projects. We will get some experience for it, as you saw when we looked at those projects. And from there, we now have 2 places liberated. How about that? Look at that. They're highlighted in green because we liberated them. Look at that. We're set. We've also gone up a couple levels in our village. Fantastic. If it were me, the next things I do is I go straight to Iwasaki, honestly, because having access to iron is a big deal. You could also choose to go straight to Segi, because getting a tanning vat is a huge deal as well. The longbow is also such a good bow. So really, getting a better bow is awesome. Going here just means you get all the iron tools and it takes care of your needs there. So, we did it. We took care of 2 regions. We've made it through 3 full days in the game. You, I hope, know the basics of this game at this point, to a level where now you'll be able to be dangerous and have a lot of fun in here. You might note that you now have things you can harvest, which takes care of medical needs for your people. And now we're in the summer. So now the seasonal rotations and crops change. You might notice that we now have a person at our bell that we can bring into our village. And that's going to help us out a lot. So, from here, have fun and enjoy. Take care, y'all. Thanks for taking the time to watch this.